welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 46. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the lovely people in chat, and welcome, everyone. Welcome to our weekly open tournament. At one point, this was a bi-weekly, but now it is back to a weekly every single Sunday. We have you covered with some StarCraft, with some tuna action. The tuna, papi, the tuna. Let's go, papi, let's go. As we have our first matchup, we have our first series, and spawning. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Of Alcyone, we have our red Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is Mindle VK. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of the UK, from the land of England, representing Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. Let us go. We have a ZVP to kick things off. Exclamation mark B in the chat. The bracket is live. The bracket is up and running. Recommend checking out the bracket yourselves because there are a lot of really good matches that are currently ongoing. I had a hard time picking and choosing between which one we wanted. We have players from all around the world. We have players from Korea in Honmono and Nightmare. We have players from Europe, such as these players right here. We have plenty of variety as well. We've got Nick Ratch, we've got Geralt, we've got Cristiano, we have Art. Plenty of Polish Protoss players are getting involved as well. And yeah, we're back with our weekly dose of Tuna StarCraft. It's amazing, it's beautiful. I did see someone in the chat, someone was asking, yo, who came up with the name? It was a joint effort by the people here at the CranKy Ducklings, and as you should know, we have our events named after animals, named after some, water-based animals. Our first tournament was called the Sea Duckling Open, that was made back in 2017, followed by Master Swan Open, so we had the duck, we had the swan, followed by the Grand Platypus Open, and the platypus, it's close enough to a duck, it's an Australian duck, if you will, and then from there, we have made the Sparkling Tuna Cup and the Tenacious Turtle Tussle as well. Look at the tuna. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But there is a backstory behind the reasoning for the tuna. It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut. If you know StarCraft, then you would be familiar with it. But it is a play on Dongwon. Dongwon was or is a can of tuna brand in Korea. As a result, there are players called Dongwon that had tuna memes made about them, like the Tuna Terran, which is Ryung. His name is Dongwon. Likewise with Shin Dongwon, which is Hydra, the South Korean Zerg player, or now the retired Zerg player. But alas, there is ties there when it comes to the Korean scene. The reason why specifically we went for it as well is because we made this tournament when Olima League was shutting down. And if you remember, Olima League, it was basically like the KSL. Olima League was a weekly open tournament based to support the Korean region and the Korean scene. Basically, as Olima League was dying out many years ago, that is when we started the Sparkling Tuna Cup. So we did have some Korean references as a result. Not just the tuna itself, which is a Korean reference, but also the sparkling. If you were watching GSL many years ago, one of the prominent sponsors of GSL was sparkling water. Sparkling cider, if I'm not mistaken, or some kind of sparkling drink. And there were a lot of ads or a lot of memes made about it. So yeah, that's where the term sparkling, we kind of brought it from some of the old GSL memes as well. So all ties in Korean StarCraft, and hey, we even have some Korean players competing here tonight as well. So yeah, that is the origins of the name of the tournament. As we're gonna be getting into our game, sending out a couple of links. It is gonna be a Void Ray first here out of Mindle VK. Is gonna shut down the initial Overlord. Is gonna get a kill here. Is gonna supply block Eva. At the same time, Lings, they do get across the map. They do hit the third base, and we're looking for a cancel. Oh, and we do barely force a cancel as well. Very nicely done. Eba, he will disrupt the opener here of Mindle VK. Thankfully, it was a cancel, not a kill. From here, with our Void Ray-based opener, we can hide our tech, and we can see what the tech is. That is a Twilight Council. I don't see a Forge. I don't see a Robo. This looks like Lava Depths. Oh boy. Now, thankfully, Eva's playing safe here at the 420 mark. We're going to be throwing down a safety Roach Warren to amass a Roach army of our own. Roaches alongside Lynx as well to try to keep up here with any kind of aggression that Mindle VK has to offer. Again, Glaive Adepts are not impossible from here, or they're not out of the realm of possibility. So Eva, I'm sure it's in the back of his mind. That's why we already have that Roach Warren in production a lot earlier than normal. Oracle does slip into the main base. Queens are in position. We get one drone kill so far. Oracle is forced back. So far, so good. Also, my apologies. I assumed it was going to be Glaive Adepts. It is not. We're rushing to a very fast charge. And this should be for a bit of an earlier charge timing from Mindle VK. Now, we are following it up with a later Forge, and I imagine later tech, like a Templar Archives, and potentially a Robo for Immortal production. There's that Robo now on the way. But that is going to be for a follow-up push following the initial charge lots. So a very cheeky, aggressive build here out of Mindle VK. We'll see if we can get away with it. Meanwhile, Lings, they do try to get surround here on the Adept, and they will not get it. The Adept does fall back to the safety of the shield battery, does manage to keep alive, does manage to survive, as we do see Eba trying to go for a scout behind this. Looks like, as he's stuck at home, he doesn't want to be caught off guard here by what his opponent has to offer, so we are going for that Overlord speed, going for Pneumatized Carapace, going for a scout into the main. Queens are able to keep their base alive. 3 more drones go down. The Oracles, they barely survive as well. Skirting between the bases, there goes the Overseer, as we did mention. Now that Overlord speed is done, we're going for a full scout of the main base, and we should get eyes on the follow-up tech. The fact that we have opted to delay some of our upgrades, delay our tech in favor of charge, and there we go. The charge lots are slowly amassing at the third. Oh, no Spore at the third base of Eba. There is no Spore. 6 drones go down. Oh, this is banking up. This is adding up here. Becoming a bit much. Overseer does get eyes on the Zealots, so now Eba should know that it's not Blink. Should be aware that it's going to be a charge lot based composition instead. And Mindle has yet to pull the trigger. We're going to be taking up instead. Interesting choice here. I think a big reason for this is because Eba already has a roach-based army. Like, he's already got a pretty sizable force. Mindle does recognize that, so he's going to be skipping Warpins. He only has a handful of Zealots here to defend, and he's taking up into Archons, into Immortals, into +1. He's just working towards a later game. This Void Ray is going to be recalled. Back across the map, Eba still just saturating his bases, getting his forward base up and running as well. He's been stuck defending up until now. And yeah, the game is going to settle. I mean, we're on Alkion. It is a much larger map of the map pool, much known for its late game, much known for its macro. So outside of a certain timing here, we should be able to settle into a 4 and then 5A setup. Gold is on the way. We do see that Mindle VK is making a prism though. With this Warp Prism, with these Archons and Charge Lots, we may decide to move out. We may decide to push. Well, Overseer is going to be forced back. Changeling's trying to get a read on things as well. We can see that Eba is still sticking with Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Has been able to, or is still working towards Bailing speed. Is still taking in that direction. Does check, does confirm that there is a 4th base. Didn't see the base itself, but did see the army and the pylon. So Eba does know. And here we go. Now Mindle VK is pushing. As a reminder, the upgrades for Mindle are delayed. They are later than normal, unfortunately. Just because of his build, just because of the earlier charge that he went for, as we saw, didn't really lead into anything. And is going to be able to shut down some of these Bailings before they do more for him. But that's a lot of Bailings. That's a massive amount of Bailings. We do crash in. Not the best trade here against the Archons, but we will clean this up. Yeah, the Archons are going down. I love that we don't waste the Bailings on them either. Yeah, we clean up the Zealots instead, and Mindle VK gets completely shut down. At the same time, we have Zealot run back here at the 3rd base. We almost get the Queen, but almost is not good enough. As Eba will clean up those Zealots. Cleans up the army. Oh, a bit of a move command there out of Mindle VK is going to bleed out some of these Zealots as well. They are being slowed down. And Eba's about to max out. He's about to max out here. He's going across the map, looking to knock down this 4th base. Aye, aye, aye. Oh, got the Bailings. They're going for the Zealots. They send them away, and we connected the mineral line. The Roaches, they break through the stack defense. They G-power the shield battery and the cannon as well. And alas, there just barely is not anything left here. We have broken on through. There's a handful of Zealots remaining. We reset the Archon count, the Immortal counts. Void Ray and Oracles are doing what they can, but this base will fall. That's going to be a kill on the Nexus. And we're not done. We're going to keep on pushing. And Mindle just cannot keep up. Again, his build was an interesting one to go into a faster charge and to not make use of it. Again, his entire tech tree was delayed as a result. It did take him a little bit longer to really get up and running, and unfortunately he had no map presence, no harassment outside of his oracles and void rays, which were doing damage. To be fair, the oracle harass was good, but there wasn't anything else, is the problem. And Eva was happily just droning and taking more bases, and eventually we reached this point where we are maxing out on 82 workers, 83 even. And Mindle back at her, and we do have Storm, but we need time. The High Templar, they're not ready for their storms. They need a little bit more time here. Do need more time as we are pushing forward. Oh, storms are finishing. We do bait out a handful of them. There's 2 left. We're down to 1. And we're down to none. 0 storms remaining here. We should be able to get on top of this army. We do manage to warp in an extra wave of zealots, though. No Banelings left over. Mindle holds. Mindle does hold on. More Banelings are on the way. Banelings are in production. You can see Eba getting ready for a higher form of tech with a Hive finishing up, Spire on the way as well. In case there was some Sky Toss, then Eba is going to be ready for it. Do love to see it. Is it going to be ready for that eventual Sky Toss? We can see though that it's not coming. We're still stuck with a Ground Toss army. Speaking of, there's a Fleet Beacon. But the Fleet Beacon starts as the Spire is more than halfway done. Is more than halfway done at this point. Eba has full map control. We're just engulfing the map in creep. Mindle is on 4 bases. He does have his 4th back up and running, but taking a 5th is going to be a tough ask. And even then, Eba could just break into that 4th base here and now. I'm not so sure how I feel about this. Eba's going for a Hydra 10. I feel like if you've already got a Spire, may as well, yeah, take into a Greater Spire and work towards Broodlords. Here it looks like Eba wants to maybe work towards Hydra Lurker Viper first. But it's kind of a late tech switch and a late Hydra Den. As carriers are on the way. Greater Spire is spotted. Prism slips into the main base going for a big warp in. The warp in will finish. Zealots take over for the Greater Spire. But we have Banelings. We do have Banelings. We clean up the Zealots. Good defense there by Eba. You know, we have a Baneling drop headed towards the natural. Not the most saturated base here, so not the most amount of damage is available there. Ooh, when the Void Rays are in position, we shut down the Dropper Lord. Making 3 Tempest at a time as we have a Lunker Den on the way. And Middle of the Case stabilizing. He's getting there. The carrier is revealed. The reality is that Middle VK can't really be aggressive. He can't really push anytime soon, but he's getting into Sky Toss. He's building up towards his death ball of an army. We're getting there. As we are slowly taking a 5th. Meanwhile, Eva on the other side, on the flip side, is getting his Broodlords up and running. 6 Broodlords already. I do like this just because we don't actually need that many Corruptors yet. It's only 3 Tempest and 1 Carrier. But we should be reinforcing with Corruptor. Likewise, we should be working on Corruptor upgrades, as right now they're going to be 0-0. Prism does fall. But 0-0 Corruptor is not going to be ideal here. So we have another Bane Drop moving in. The center of its base is getting fortified with cannons, shield batteries. That is concerning. Mothership, no reaction! Late reaction, but it looks like we will keep this mineral line alive. Whew. Just barely. 1 probe goes down, so many of them in the red there. do survive. Behind this, we're just making more carriers. The Sky Toss is now well underway, definitely. Eba just now working towards the second Spire for double upgrades. And I'm impressed. Mindle, like, he's weathered through the storm. You know, he was able to reclaim his 4th, get a 5th, max out, and now he's building up a bank. And the reality is that I would probably say that, yeah, Mindle, he has a more efficient army right now. Eba has, sure, some Broodlords and some Corruptors, but no Spellcasters. A lot of supply tied up in these Roaches. You can see him killing his own units. Yeah, and Eba, he knows he has to get rid of these Roaches. They're hurting him more than anything. Roaches are being thrown away. As we get rid of the Roaches, we're getting into Ultra Infestor. Interesting. Looking at the upgrades. To have 3-0 for the Ultras, soon to be. Decent upgrades for them. Got +1 air attack on the way as well, or flyer attack for Eba. Big Roach run by here. We do get into a mineral, and then again, we want to get rid of this. We want to throw away the supply, ideally trade it with some workers. We do pick up the cannons. Do pick up at least some of the cannons. Eba sharking around. It looks like he will come across the Void Rays. Gets 1. Gets 2. Not sure if we needed the yoink, but regardless, did get them. Lings, they unborrow, they get into the middle line. Probes are finally going down. 8 workers do 4. We do borrow the Lings. Quick moves out of Eba. Behind this, 3 more Stargates. More carriers are amassing. Do we have any High Templar? We do. We have 4 High Templar. They're here on the front lines. But yeah, the problem is that Eba can't really engage. The reason why is just because, like, the upgrades are lacking here. The composition's still lacking as well as we're building up towards it. Like, Eba did so well in the mid game, but his transition into, like, Spire Tech and Hive Tech in general was a little bit shaky, was delayed. As a result, Mindle is very much in this. Broodlords and Ultras have been revealed. They have been revealed. The Mindle's fully aware he should be getting into more Robo Tech, and there it is, 2 more Robos on the way. This is going to be for Immortals. Immortals are ideal against Ultras. So you want enough Immortals to protect your High Templar. We could probably do with some more Archons as well. Speaking of, Archons are on the way. And this is it, the death blow of an army, almost perfect. Just away from more upgrades. Clearing up as much creep as we can. At the same time, Brewers, they push towards the gold. That is going to be 12 Broodlords with 1-1. Get the Revelation off, Broodlords have to back up. You manage to get a fungal at the same time. Slozen gets thrown out. We get the Mothership. -300, -300. The Archons, they were out of position. Again, to avoid those abductions, we need the High Templar and Archons to be a little bit more proactive. If they go too far out, though, that's where the Ultras come in. That's where you can surround, you can punish. The purpose of those Ultras are to eat storms, to close the distance, to get on top of the High Templar, to shut them down, to allow for the rest of the army to wreak havoc. We got 1 Oracle, not bad. Get a Tempest as well. Ultras are shocking around, looking for some damage. And they're going to force a reaction here out of Middle VK. He has to be very careful with how he splits up his army. He's actually bringing everything back home. And he's being dragged out of position. Here come the Broodlords. Duke of the Revelation. Big storm on the Broodlords. Alright, Templar does go down. We get a fungal. The Interceptor's less than ideal. And the Ultras are still wreaking havoc. They break through the base. And Mindle just unable to split up his army. Ooh, but that's a lot of Archon shots going off. We go to volleys overall. Meanwhile, 13 probes full. The base still survives. And the Ultras are forced back. Again, it's just Mindle trying to turtle, trying to defend, taking another base, getting a 6. Now, what's scary is that Ebo wasn't checking. As Ebo was pushing in, he wasn't checking for another Nexus, and he has no idea on this base gets up and running, and it should have been punished. It should have been contested. Eba didn't know. So this is really scary for Eba, actually. This is a really terrifying moment here. Because Eba does have a bank, true, but he's on a low drone count, so is middle VK. Any additional base mining here for the Protoss is ideal. This just gives him such an edge. Eba just caught unawares. We're in for a long series, Navi. Based on what happened earlier, I was not expecting the game to go quite like this, I'll be honest. Okay, the Broodlords have arrived. Take down the cannon. Soon to be another. We do see behind this, the Storms do zone away the Corruptors once again. The Tempest, no! A bit of mispathing there. 2 Tempests go down. And a Carrier. Big missteps there from middle VK. Does have to rebuild. That was a pretty big slip up. Broodlords are pushing in. Oh, they do get a couple of fungals. Likewise, the counter feedbacks as well. Big storm on the Broods. Do we have another storm left? It looks like we do. But the High Templar, they're going down one after the other. We dive on the army. Big power bomb as well. And it looks like Eba, he's swallowing up this Protoss army. Again, the fungals and the power bombs were insane. I say that we're running out of Corruptors. Oh, just barely we cleaned them up. But we lost so much. It's what? 3 Carriers, 2 Tempests, middle VK's supply plummets. And he was remaxing. Eba, he's already remaxing. As that was just a brutal fight that middle VK took. It wasn't just that, but all of his High Templar, they got caught out by the fungals. We saw that, I want to say there were 2 storms left, and High Templar died before they could do anything. And with that, Eba takes a massive fight, and he's looking to take this first game as well. It's a big loss from middle VK, and he has a lot of rebuilding to do. My tries to slip in. At the same time, we catch out the Tempest. No, we catch them out. 1 Tempest go down, a 2nd Tempest, and soon to be a 3rd. Oh, we barely do get it. Big pickups there by Eba. Again, Protoss is strength in numbers. No, Protoss death balls are a thing for a reason. We're being caught left and right. We're being caught on our own. But now he can just keep on pushing towards this base towards the bottom right. He already took down the gold, and now he's going for the new 5th. 1-6. And here we go. One final stand here for Mindle, but he gets Neuraled. Big Neurals here on the carriers. Storms get thrown down as well. Infestors are going down. Well, there's just too much on the ground to support. The Ultras, they wreak havoc here on the Stalkers, and the Corruptors are able to focus on the carries one after the other. GG gets called, and Eba will take game number 1. Ooh, GG. A pretty grueling game number 1 there. I mean, Eba initially had a really strong start. Remember when he was able to max out with Lingbane Roach Ravager, when he broke the 4th base, I thought the game was going to end then and there. I'll be honest, I thought that was it, that's all he needed. But no, Minuvike, he survived, he turtled, he was able to get his 4th, his 5th, his 6th base up and running. Unfortunately, we saw too many times Minuvike just being pulled apart left and right, and was getting picked apart by Eba. Again, really well done there by Eba. And Mindo, unfortunately, just was not able to stabilize. Was close, though. Was close. I mean, did max out, that is true, but that was a brutal final fight. Not the one we just saw, but before that, when he initially lost his maxed out army. It was a brutal moment. And with that, Eba has a 1-0 lead. I'll fix up the logo. Barbara says, Eba, yeah, Papi. Yeah, that's his name, Papi. That's his name. Fun fact, almost the entire round 1 is completed during this game. Oh, let's go. I mean, it was a long game. Jesus. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player representing Psystorm Gaming. Down in this series, looking to bounce back, it is Mindel VK. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the English Zerg player. The blue Zerg representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Eba. Let's go. Also, I just noticed in the Twitch chat, I hate Protoss, I hate live VIP, it's the Eba. So for those that are curious, as we were getting ready for the tournament, Eba, he messaged me and he's like, Light, I have a request. I have one request for you, Papi. I'm like, anything. He's like, give me a Protoss player. Give me Protoss. So something that's been happening every time Eba plays in our tournaments, and it is because in general online events are very Protoss heavy. Like there's a lot of Protoss players in among the GM and pro scene, and it's just very Protoss stacked tournaments. And Eba's just always playing against them whenever he signs off for Sparkling Tuna Cup, and he's a little bit sick of it. He's like, it's not a matchup that he quite enjoys. It's not a matchup that he enjoys. He's like, but don't give me a Protoss, please. I'm like, what do you want? Mate, everyone's Protoss here. What do you mean? you can't avoid them forever. Este Eba, shaking my head. He was trying to reason with the brackets, pleading for a Zerg or Terran opponent. But alas, you know, at the end of the day, we have no control over that. You know, we have no favoritism here when it comes to how the bracket is generated. It is seeded, by the way, for those that are curious. It is seeded based on historic performances in our tournaments, as well as illegal act is seeded. And Eba, he got what he wanted. Protoss. Copium. Este Eba. Here we go. We're settling into game number 2. Whew. And yeah, as Kura did mention in the chat, we're almost done. We're almost done with all of round 1. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the final series to wrap up. As oh my god, we're done. We're done with the Stargate openers. This time, no Void Ray, no Oracle. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener at a Mindel VK. Now, if you remember, in the previous game, I assumed it was going to be a Glaive Adept build. If you remember, it was Charge instead, and a very unorthodox build. Honestly, it put Mindel behind. It did put Mindel VK behind. Here, with a straight-up Twilight Council opener, this should be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more crisp. I'm feeling either Glaives or a Dark Shrine. Does depend on whether or not we pull out a gas. For now, 3 and 3. I'm leaning more along the side of a DT opener, but we'll see. Keep an eye on the gas income here. As the Twilight Council is now done, gases are continuing to be mined. Do have our Robo and second gateway on the way. And show us a Dark Shrine. There it is. Dark Shrine has been thrown down. Reason why we assumed it would be a Dark Shrine is because we have not pulled out a gas. If you're curious about the efficiency of 4-gate glaives, you do only need 4 workers mining gas, so 2 and 2 instead of 3 and 3. With excess gas, we can of course invest into more Dark Templar, and this is not an all-in, but it's a very aggressive build. The way this works is that we're going to be getting across the map with some DTs. We're going to be wreaking havoc. Once there is detection, once the DTs can no longer get any damage done, ideally we save the Dark Templar. Oh, as we do force cancel. We did accidentally start a bit of an earlier tech structure. But we do save the Dark Templar and morph them into Archons. And then we can go for some Archon drop harass as well. So there's layers to the aggression available to middle VK. Are layers. Meanwhile, early Roach Warren here by Eba. That was what, around a 4-minute Roach Warren, maybe 350. It's run down early on, I imagine because he is of course aware that there was no Stargate, and he's getting ready for potentially Glaives or Dark Templar or Charge or anything of the sort. Very safe play here at Eba. Behind this, he's happily mining, happily droning as best he can. Saturating his bases. The Prism has arrived, and here come the first wave of Dark Templar. Morphing into Archons immediately, though. Very interesting. I mean, there is a spore at the natural. There's a spore in the main. There is a spore. There's spores everywhere. So, to be fair, we can't really get much done. But, yeah, Middle VK didn't even try. Didn't even try with those Dark Templar. The Archons have arrived. So far, they're being zoned away. Do have a transfuse available. The Queens, they stand strong. The Archons, yeah, they rotate around instead. Back at home, we have a Forge on the way. Immortal production has commenced. That is the Gateway Explosion, by the way. Oh my god. So we just made a choice. Instead of expanding, instead of taking a 3rd base, we throw down 4 more gates instead. That's going to be 8 gates in total. This screams 2 base all in. The Archons, they try to pick up a Queen in the main. Good clutch transfuse out of Eba. Does keep them alive. The Prism will back on off. And so far we haven't gotten much done. You can see here the trades. We've killed 3 Lings and nothing else. This Archon drop has not been worth it yet. Now, thankfully, the Archons are still alive. They have plenty of shields to work with, so we do retain our Archons. They can live to fight another day in the main army. They're denying creep at least as well, setting up for the eventual all-in. Speaking of, again, there's still no 3rd base. It is a straight-up 2 base all-in. So 2 base all-in at a middle VK. It's going to be a timing with +1, with a heavy immortal count, with the War Prism to reinforce. Now, what's important is that Eba does have a link part at the 3rd base, and he should be checking the triangular 3rd as well. And once he does, he should recognize, sorry, the linear 3rd as well. And once he does, he should recognize that it is an all-in, and he should play it out as safely as possible. Did have a safety spine crawler on the way, does cancel. Let's go for the cancel instead. Archons are being zoned away. Eba will defend. And you can see he's checking, he's trying to figure out what's going on. I believe the sentries are spotted, and now we know what's happening. Again, it is almost a Soul Train-esque all-in from Mindle. Charge the Archon Immortal Sentry. A lot of this is going to come down to the force fields, going to come down to the positioning. Spine Crawlers are on the way. Banelings are on the way as well. Eba, he looks pretty secure. He's on 51 workers. He's building up quite a lot of Banelings to defend. Now it's all about the force fields, about how good the force fields are, and whether or not Eba can break them down fast enough, avoid them as well. We shall see. As ideally, Mindo, he wants to fight a portion of this army on its own. Banelings are coming in. Decent force fields, but the force fields, they get knocked out. Banelings, they connect with the sentries, they connect with the zealots. But we're still breaking through. We still have a lot of Immortals and Archons behind this. To say that the Archons are getting low. One Archon goes down. Managed to get one. And we're going for the other. Yes, Stalkers are getting picked off. We clean up the army. We run out of steam. We run out of buffer. And yes, we have killed 10 drones, but that is not good enough. Behind this, oh, it looks like we had a bit of harass here towards the left-hand side. It was cleaned up. Minnow VK is down to 1 Immortal, going for a warping of another wave of Archons. And Eva's going for a counterattack. He checks. He does confirm there is still no third. But Eba, do we have anything at home to defend? Minno's coming back in. Oh, that's a lot of Overlords. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. He gets 4. 4 Overlords go down. Eba, he's all in across now. He gets the Cybercore. Where's the detection? No shot. DTs, they go straight for the Ravagers. Third base is going down. Eba, without any detection, he's in a lot of trouble right now. Overseer is on the way. Back at him, he's hurting. He does bleed out 6 drones. Does bleed out 6 workers. The Overseer does arrive just in time, but we have dealt a lot of damage. Things are getting a little bit scary here. A little bit chaotic. Back at home, we clean up the army. We shut down the Immortals and the Archon just barely. GG gets called. And Eba will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Oh my god, GG, well played. Congratulations here, congratulations to Eba as he does advance on into the quarterfinals. Whew, but that was a pretty tense series there. Minnow VK so aggressive, so assertive, especially in that second game, going for the 2-base all-in and just doubling down on it as well, hoping that maybe Eba was droning up too much. Thankfully, Eba was playing very safe and secure. Once he realized that something was wrong, he didn't know exactly what was happening, but he was just staying on a low drone count, making sure he had Lings, Banelings, Roaches, and Ravagers. He had enough. Did have enough in the end. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be following Eba into his next series. We're going to be following Eba into the Americas, into his next opponent. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. We have been avoiding that bracket, but there it is before you. From the very top, we have Nightmare. He has made his return. This is not his first event. This is not his first Sparkling Tuna Cup. So it's great to see Nightmare return. Another big name that did at one point, or was quite prevalent in Sparkling Tuna Cup, was Bjorn. Bjorn was a very active player back a year ago, 2 years ago. But for now, Nightmare, he moves on. He 2-0's Groovy Man, and now he's up against Eba in the second round. The Protoss opponents don't get easier. They get harder and harder as we get ready for our next series. Meanwhile, scrolling down, we do have Art taking down Nanian 2-0. Art is waiting for either Homono or Azura in the next round. Art currently mid-series. Currently duking it out. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Cristiano. He just 2-0'd Dave. Dave Latos is now facing off against Shameless in the quarterfinals. Looks like, unfortunately, Ashbringer was not here. Ashbringer was not available. So Shameless got a free walkover, and Shameless is up against Cristiano in a PvP. Scrolling down even further, we have at the bottom of the bracket, Geralt taking down Hatsu 2-0. Again, Geralt is one of the best Protoss players out there in the entire bracket. I mean, I was going to say in the bracket. There's a lot of Protoss players in this bracket, but still one of the stronger Protoss players out there. So Hatsu does fall. Meanwhile, we have Nicarak taking down Rostock 2-0. Nicarak is up against Geralt in the round of 8. That is a solid series. I'll be honest, that is a good series there. Nicarak versus Geralt. I'm envious. I would love to cast it. I would love to be there, but we have our own series as well. A lot of juicy matches going on in the round of 8. Very, very juicy. And again, we have our own series, Eba versus Nightmare, in a European versus Korean matchup. And honestly, Nightmare is the #1 seed. Nightmare, he is the #1 seed. He is poised to win the entire tournament. Can anyone stop Nightmare? That is the question. The problem is that arguably Nightmare's best matchup is PvP, so it doesn't bode well for the rest of the bracket. But we shall see. I'm just messaging our players. Meanwhile, we just got an update. Cristiano just hooked down Shameless 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. Big win there for Cristiano. Shout out to Shameless for forcing the ace match. Again, Shameless is an up-and-coming Protoss player in Europe, has been looking damn good in his own right, and did at least take a game, but was knocked out of the tournament. Meanwhile, when it comes to the semi-finals, both semis will be casted. Both semis will be covered here on the main stream, here on the CranKy Ducklings. So Cristiano's next matchup is going to be held either up against Geralt or Nicorakt, yet to be determined, as we have our own series to focus on. For now, though, it looks like our players are conducting their vetoes, and we are going to be going on a short break. It is going to be a short break here as we settle into our quarterfinals match. Again, I'm looking forward to the return of Nightmare. Just checking, when was the last time we had Nightmare in Sparkling Tuna Cup? Was it last year? Was it the year before? Let us see. Just double checking the history of the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Okay. The last time, oh my god, I forgot about this. The last time that we had Nightmare in our tournament was March of 2023. That was over a year ago. It was Nightmare, and Nightmare went up against Cure in the grand finals. I forgot about that. Cure played in our tournaments as well. Not just Bjorn, not just Keen, not just Nightmare, but Cure. Let's go. So yeah, Cure, he won that event, and Nightmare came second, only to Cure. That did happen last year. For now, though, again, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our ZVP. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the break, but we have since returned with our second match of the night. We just wrapped up with all of the round of 16, and now we're here in the round of 8, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Post Youth, we have a returning alumni of Sparkling Tuna Cup champions. His last time competing in this event was last year, 2023, March of 2023, so it's great to see his return. It is the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, Nightmare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the English Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Game 1 gonna be on Post Youth. Vetoes are done. We have our map order, and we do have a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of EBA, but we have loaded into Post Youth. Post Youth becoming one of the more macro maps out there. I mean, there is a way to really make use of the aggression, make use of the goal bases here out on the map, as Nightmare is going for a 2-gate opener. Very interesting. Okay, so Nightmare, he has not probe scattered, but this looks like a bit of a hard counter, assuming that EBA would have taken the goal base early on, which I wouldn't blame Nightmare for assuming that. Again, rushing to this gold is not unheard of, and we have seen a lot of all-ins based off of this as well, so Nightmare just trying to hard counter this and being very aggressive and assertive in the early game. With a 2-gate opener, we delay the expansion. We do delay the Nexus here quite a bit to go into that second gateway to get into double Adept production. Once the Cybercore is done, we can get 2 Adepts, then followed by 4, followed by 6. We can be quite aggressive and quite assertive here on the side of Nightmare. Again, we're just waiting for the Cybercore to finish. Behind this, EBA just going for a hatch gas pool. Again, we do have a pocket or a free hybrid base available here in the main, so very secure on 2 bases. There is a goal that you can take as a 3rd, as a 4th, or even as a natural that you can rush into, which again, I imagine is why Nightmare is being as aggressive as he is. Here we go, 2 adepts being made at a time. They are being chronoed, they are going to be zooming out across the map, and we'll see if EBA can keep up with the speed and with the control of Nightmare. I did briefly mention, but Nightmare, he is a Sparkling Tuna Cup champion from years gone by. I believe his last championship was in 2023. I did mention earlier that his last participation was in 2023. Sorry, his last win was in 2022. His last participation was in 2023, but he came second place, second to Cure. Was EBA, he hides the drone. Does hide the drone, does come back in, and the gold is taken as a 3rd. That's a shade into the main base. There are some links to defend, but the links are getting shaved off one after the other. We're down to 1, we're down to 0. 4 more do pop out just in time. And we do force Nightmare the hell out of here, but no, we get 1 drone kill. We get 1 drone so far. Queens, they're coming in for the kill. They want the Adepts. But once again, we shade away. We get 2 drones in total. And now the 2 Adepts, they turn into 4. We got 4 Adepts here threatening the bases. And we're shading in, we're going for the drones. At least we're trying to. Yeah, Lings are being forced out, drones are under fire, more Lings are on the way, but Ling speed is not done, not yet. But it's so close. So close to finishing up here, we end up bleeding out 1 Adept. We bleed out a second. Nightmare, he has done well though. He's been forcing out Lings, he's been killing drones, he's been wreaking havoc. And he has not seen the gold. Now behind this interesting tech of choice, there is no Stargate. We're going for a Twilight Council. I assumed it was going to be for Glaives, but no, it's going to be for Blink. Interesting. Nightmare going for Blink of all things. Well, denying mining time in the natural. Doesn't get another drone kill, but does deny mining time. Does force out some Spore Crawlers. Looking at the vision, we still have not confirmed the 3rd base. We can make an assumption. Interesting. As we are mining through these mineral patches, we fully walled off. Okay. We fully walled off on one side, mining through the other. Overlord goes down, but we get a full scout. We do get eyes on the Twilight Council, and that does force out an earlier Roach Horn. And we can see it's Blink and DTs. Yo, Nightmare, he's having fun. Nightmare, he's taking in every direction here. Going 2-base Blink alongside Dark Templar. This is very unorthodox. This is very unusual. This is not normal. This is not standard. This is not meta here from Nightmare. I mean, Nightmare does typically thrive in the mid game, but this is crazy. I'm catching up with the chat. A cup of full sparkling tuna would make for an odd but effective protein shake. Sparkling tuna. That sounds like a quirky, like, carbonated drink, right? Like a soft drink. That sounds amazing. I kind of want it. Not gonna lie. It sounds refreshing. Like a can of sparkling tuna. Like, in my mind, it's got like a lemony taste, you know? Like, because it's meant to be from the sea, sort of thing. Not so much fishy. Just like, you know, refreshing. Meanwhile, we're getting into a bit of a gateway explosion. It's going to be, what is this, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways all in total. 6 gates on the way onto bases. Third base has been taken behind this. Blink Stalkers are chilling here back at home to defend. And Eba across the map has been able to settle into his 3-base saturation. It's double expanding as we speak to try to catch back up. But here comes the Dark Templar. Do we have detection? We don't. No Spore in the main. No Spore at the natural either. No Spore at the goal. DT's Invisible Man in every single base. And we're throwing down Spores as best we can. Good hold position micro. Yeah, the Dark Templar, they're not getting that much done, but there we go. They go for, they try to target down as many drones as we can. Drones are getting targeted. Lings go for a surround. Again, the Spores are not quite in position. We get 12 drone kills. We get the Spore at the natural. DT in the main still survives as well. It lives. We get another drone. We go from 13 to 15 worker kills. We still have that third at, sorry, that DT at the third base as well. He wants the Spore, doesn't get it. And doesn't escape either. Eba, he does clean most of this up, but the DT comes back into the main. Oh my god. All in all, 18 dead drones. And so much lost mining time. Section has finally arrived, and here comes a follow-up push, hitting the goal base. Do you have a handful of Lings? There are no oracles to support. We do have Blink. We do have Blink. We do manage to get away. And with that Blink, we're able to clean up all the Lings. We take down the goal base as well. There is no holding onto it. There is no saving it. A Nightmare, he's going to be able to just keep on applying pressure here. Charges on the horizon. Slow lots have arrived. Eba does get a nice surround. Very nice surround here from Eba. Does clean up a lot of Stalkers. But as this is happening, we have Zealots going straight for the base. GG gets called. It just becomes too much. And Nightmare snowballs out of control and takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Nightmare, he does snowball out of control. Again, a very, very interesting build and playstyle there against Eba, going for a Twilight Council opener into Blink Stalkers, into Dark Templar of all things, as well as a follow-up, all off of the back of 2-Gate Adept. Aye, GG. And with that, Nightmare needs one more win here to advance on. One more win to advance on into the semifinals. Eba has to fight back here and now. Eba, who was just messaging me, and he was saying that, you know, he thought it was going to be DTs, and then he was like, nah, it's not going to be DTs, which is why he didn't make any Spore Crawlers. So it was something that passed through his mind, but Eba made the decision there to actually skip the Spores intentionally, thinking that, I mean, off of Blink, there should not be Dark Templar, right? And I don't blame him. That's why I mentioned how unorthodox this playstyle was, because if you're opening up Blink, Dark Templar alongside it just is wild. It just is not seen at all. It is not commonplace. So yeah, again, Eba likewise believed that it would not be possible either and was caught with his pants down. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner. In the top right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, but looking to advance on to the semifinals. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the English Zerg player going for a pull first. Let's go. Representing the Platinum Esports, Platinum Heroes, it is Eba. Eba. Let's go. Yeah, it is going to be a pull first build here. The probe comes in, does scout, does confirm. Now, an aggressive build makes sense from Eba or from anyone here as we're loading into Ghost River. Ghost River being the shortest rush distance map in the map pool, it doesn't take long at all to get across the map. It's one screen apart. Like, natural to natural is one screen, essentially, and it can be even shorter if you mine through these minerals or break through these rocks. Can be even shorter than that. So, yeah, a very, very interesting start here from Eba. Is going pool hatch into gas geyser. With this, we could go just for a handful of links to apply some pressure. We could throw down a Roach Warren behind this as well. I'm curious where Eba takes this. For now, 6 links. For now, 6 links are going to be pushing and making our way across the map. Likewise, back at home, Nightmare, he does have a decent setup here, does see what's going on, does spot the army with his probe, and he should be able to wall up. And there it is, we have the gateway, we have the probe in position for the pylon, for the full wall. And there it is, pylon is thrown down, Lings, they go for the gateway. They get some good surface area, the gateway, it is vulnerable, it's going to be going down. When we do force a cancel, Lings, they bust into the main base. Adept has arrived. We can maybe get a probe kill. We're going for workers. So far, good control here out of Nightmare. Does pull back in time. Doesn't lose a single probe in the main. Cleans up the Lings. And Nightmare is looking solid. Looking at the trades here. 6 Lings for nothing. Or 6 Lings for a cancelled gateway and a cancelled pylon. All that could be done. Behind this, we're droning. We do have link speed on the way. We pulled out of gas. No Roach Warren. Ooh, as Nightmare is going for a Robo Opener. Okay, our tech of choice here with a Robo can lead a couple of different ways. Based on how Nightmare's been playing, it looks like he's having fun. This could lead into a Disruptor drop. Could be Disruptor drop. Could be Fast Colossus. Could be a Prism into a Depth Harass. Could be an Immortal base all-in with Sentries. So it could be like a bit of a Soul Drain. I'm leaning more along the side of Disruptor drop, but we'll see. We shall see. Third gateway has been thrown down. Interesting. With the third gateway, it could be a War Prism. Yep, there it is. War Prism is on the way. And it looks like we are going to be a little bit more assertive here with the gateway army. Moving out with the gateway army. I was not expecting this though. It's not just 3 gates. We're going up to 5 gateways. Oh my god. That's gonna be a lot of gateways back. So I was not expecting this many gateways to be thrown down, but here we go. Gateways are wrapping up. Adepts are getting across the map. Remember, these are vanilla adepts, and we spoke about disruptors. There's the Bay on the way, potentially for disruptors or Colossi. I'm leaning more along Colossi now, as you know, we're not quite working towards drop play, towards War Prison speed, I mean. Adepts, they do get across the map. They do make it across. Eba thankfully did throw down a safety Roach Warren. Roaches are on the way. Oh, but the drones are getting caught out. No, 3 drones do go down. The Lings, they get a surround though. Again, good surround here on these adepts. Good chunk of them are getting shaved off. As yep, they're not quite done. They shade in towards the main base. We have plenty of Lings. Plenty of Lings in position. We do collapse on these Adepts. Once again, only 3 do survive. And we should clean this up, but not before we get into the mineral line. No shot. We do get in. Drones are going down. The roaches. Ah, the roaches are still in the way. They're just now coming into the main base. Again, Eba, I'm sure, assumed that he would have been able to deal with this. And he does clean up those Adepts, so we're not done. We're coming in with even more. Meanwhile, behind this, I assumed it was going to be Colossi, not Disruptors, but there it is. Disruptors are on the way. A little bit more flair from Nightmare. And Eba's hurting. Eba, he's down to 39 drones. Trying to rebuild as best he can. Moving out with his main army, trying to deny a third base. At last, there is no third. With another gateway on the way, with the Twilight Council, this is looking pretty committed from Nightmare. As I say that, he is taking a third. Nexus is on the way. So Nightmare expanding behind his push. Remember, there's no Blink, there's no Glaives, but there are Disruptors. The lane does confirm the third. Eba, he drones up a little bit. But is he ready for this? How good are the Novas going to be? Roaches are moving out. Roaches are pushing. First Nova goes off, zones away the army. We have 1 Nova left. We have 1 Nova remaining. Lings, they dive on the Disruptor. They will not get it. Disruptor does survive. Roaches, they push on forward. Up. Disruptors are saved, but we are able to force back the army. Ooh, yeah, very aggressive defense here out of Eba. Does survive. Nightmare, meanwhile, he does pivot away. Going for a drop. Going for the army. Never goes off, but at last we do react in time. Yeah, we get 1 roach. Only 1. Ooh, and the game will continue from here. The game will calm down. As Nightmare's getting his 3rd up and running, Eba's working on his 4th. The Disruptors so far have not paid for themselves, as they finally get a queen. But Eba, he's recovering. He's able to saturate at least somewhat, and he's working towards laying Bane Roach Ravager. Is still lacking drones, and now is the time to saturate, but as I say that, Nightmare, he's already pushing out once again, this time with Blink. Blink has completed. As he moves out, Eba's ready for a Link counterattack. 3rd base is looking vulnerable, but so are the main bases of Eba. He's in trouble, Bob. He's in trouble. Here we go. Nightmare pushing on forward with a Mass Stalker army. Nova goes off, connects. Good split zone. Does only connect with a handful of Lings. Another Nova goes off, does take down the Roaches. And we just don't have enough. There's just not enough Zerg here. Nightmare is snowballing out of control. He's overwhelming the Zerg, and Nightmare will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Nightmare as he does advance on into the next round. Does advance on and is going to be joining Cristiano in those semifinals. Again, Nightmare, he is a Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. He's coming in as the favorite. Can anyone stop him? Can anyone slow him down? Eba did put up a fight. Didn't look too bad in his own right, but unfortunately did eventually fall prey to Nightmare. And we'll see. We'll see if anyone can stop him. And here we go. We have a bracket to catch up on. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. You can have a look at the bracket yourselves. We do have some updates coming in. So Cristiano, he's awaiting the lower semifinals for his next opponent for either Geralt or Nicorakt. Meanwhile, Nightmare doing the same. He takes down Iba, waiting for either Art or Honmono, as Honmono takes down Azura 2-1, advancing on to face off against Art. Here we go. Now, they are mid-series here, and basically the plan is to wait for semifinals to be ready. Whichever is ready first, that's what we cast. That is what we will jump into. Whether it's Geralt versus Nickrat or Art versus Honmono, yet to be determined. Yet to be determined. As I'm just actually hopping over to the European region to try to see if maybe they're available there, and maybe I can find them. I'm looking, Papi, I'm looking. But it may be better if I just wait. It's probably just better if I wait in the Americas region. Wait over in the Americas. All good. But yeah, the tournament, it's getting wrapped up. We're getting well underway. Semifinals are almost ready here. And as a reminder as well, both semifinals will be casted. Regardless of who becomes available first, both matches will be casted here on the channel. So don't you worry. We'll have plenty of StarCraft available to you here. We'll just see who becomes available first. Outside of that, hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. The sea tastes like lemonade. You know what I mean. Refreshing, Papi. Refreshing. Let's go. The lost mining time though, yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy how much damage was done there. Very impressive. Very impressive. But again, for now, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our next match. We'll have a semifinals match. Which one? Yet to be determined. We'll get there soon. We will get there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. See you guys soon. We're also going to have another broadcast later on in the evening. We are going to be getting into... We have an update. We are going to be getting into World Team League. WTL is going to be later on in a couple of hours. We'll be going from Sparkling Tuna Cup right into WTL as... Do we have an update? I see Nickrat. Did he take down Geralt? Oh, did it happen? Oh my, let's go! GG, let's go. Okay. Nickrat. We're heading over to Europe. We're heading over to the European region here because Nickrat did take down Geralt 2-1. Very impressive. We have seen Nickrat level up quite a bit over these past couple of months. He's been looking better and better. It's been amazing to see his growth over time. And for him to take down Geralt is impressive. And now he's up against the yin to the yang that is Geralt. I feel like Cristiano and Geralt, they're both very powerful, very strong Protoss players in their own right. Two sides of the same coin, one more aggressive than the other. So we'll see. We'll see if Nickrat can make it through the gauntlet of Polish Protoss players. Here we go. We shall see as we're just setting things up. And vetoes are underway. Vetoes are currently underway for our next series. Nightmare is going to be patiently waiting until this series wraps up before we can get into his following semifinals match as well. So we have 3 series left, 2 semis and then the grand finals. As a reminder, we also have a raffle. We have a random raffle that we're going to be conducting before the grand finals to give a little bit of a bonus to a random participant of today's tournament. If you're curious, we have a basically a raffle system set up, so whoever signs up has an even chance as anyone else, but you have to have played out your series. If there was a walkover, and I believe there was a walkover today, Ashbringer didn't compete. Shameless got the walkover over Ashbringer, so Ashbringer is ineligible for the raffle. everyone else is, and it can go to anyone. It can go to someone that got knocked out in the first round, or to a finalist. So that is something that we're going to be having later on. I still need like a drum roll sound effect, like a I need some kind of drum roll, because I have the fanfare. I use the fanfare, but I need like a drum roll kind of setup. That'd be ideal. That's all we're missing for the raffle. Oh. Meanwhile, looks like our readers are done and we're diving into game numero uno. Let's go. Can confirm. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione here in the semi-finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup number 46, we have our Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Cristiano. Brand new team, and spawning in the top right hand corner we have as opponent, we have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicaract. It feels so weird. Cristiano, for so long, he was a part of Team Blazer. For many years he was representing Team Blazer, but that is no longer the case. He has found a new team in Starlight Twinkle. They have picked him up, I believe, for WTL. If you remember Starlight Twinkle, they have, not mistaken, they had Wayne, Nice, and Sham. That was their trifecta. Wayne, Nice, and Sham as their trio, but Nice has since left Starlight Twinkle. Nice is now a part of Little Fairy. And as a result, there's an opening, and Cristiano has taken that opening. So really cool to see him a part of a new team. Really cool to see him going to be a part of World Team League as well. A very prestigious premier team league, the biggest team league tournament in StarCraft. So great to see him a part of that. And is that going to be enough here? Because Nicaract is going for a 2-Rax opener. Oh my god! 2-Rax Reaper. 2-Rax Reaper here out of Nicaract. The second Rax was not scouted, despite Cristiano seeing everything in the main base. He barely did not scout the edge of that main. So Cristiano's in the dark. He's going to be that much more vulnerable back at home to the eventual Reaper aggression. And there it is, making 2 Reapers at a time. Meanwhile, remember, Cristiano just got a big result. To bring down Geralt is massive. I do think that Geralt and Cristiano are very comparable in skill. They're very close. Again, Cristiano is much more aggressive and chaotic than the other. Geralt is more mid-game and macro-oriented, is what I will say. But 2 amazing players, and for Nicaract to take down one, I want to believe he can take down another. We'll see, the pressure is on. He's already done so well for himself making it this far in the tournament. Can he go even further? As the first Reaper has arrived and makes its way into the main, Adept is going to zone it away. At the same time, we are dragging the Adept out of position, pulling it further and further out into the open, where we have more Reapers joining up. We have our take of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council based start here from Cristiano. Let's go. Curve across the map is going to get shut down. Oh, and we're going 2-Rax Reaper into 3CC. Oh my, this is so greedy. This is wild. This is a crazy build. This feels like a Gumiho build. Or even like a Beyond build. But yeah, 2-Rax Reaper into a 3CC before the first command center is even done, by the way. That's how crazy this build is. But very greedy. We'll see, can Nicaract get away with it? As we have amassed up to 4 Reapers. We head towards the natural shield battery is done. Reapers are revealed. And now the surprise factor is gone. Now Cristiano knows that there's an abundance of Reapers out there. He throws down a wall or starts to work towards a wall. You can see him positioning up on the high ground, ready for a dive into the main. Cristiano. Now, what's important here? Because he now knows it was 2-Rax Reaper, because there are so many, we have 5 Reapers getting into the natural, almost getting the Adept. But because these Reapers are spotted, Cristiano's turtling. Right now, it's on him to just turtle up and to protect his bases. You know, we're throwing down pylons, we're throwing down a full wall off here at the natural, we're getting ready in the main. We're stuck at home. Meanwhile, Nickracht is taking advantage of Cristiano, of his passivity, of his defensive style, because of the opener. It's a very smart play here out of Nickracht, where he does bleed out one Adept. We trade one Adept for one Reaper. We do end up trading. We have a Gateway Explosion behind this. It's going to be 4-gate Blink from Cristiano. And we do confirm. We do get eyes on 2 gateways in the main base. And, sorry, 1 gateway here. And then, sorry, 2 gateways here in the natural. 4 gates in total. And Nickracht, can he survive this? Again, because of the build, no tanks. No tanks. We do have a bunker on the low ground, soon to be a bunker on the high ground. But with a low tank count, we are vulnerable to Blink Stalkers. 100%. As tank production is just now going to begin with the tech lab on the way, but this is so delayed. And was Nickracht too greedy? It all depends on this counterattack. Here we go. Prisms moving out, Stalkers as well. We should be able to have a couple of weapons available across the map. Stalkers are joining up. There is that warp in. Yeah, we do chase down some of these Reapers. We're down to 2. Back at home, tank is still halfway done. Still 0 tanks whatsoever. We could even go into the main. We could deny combat shields. At least Stim is done. But what are we going for? That's a second bunker being thrown down. Nickracht, he knows how much danger he's in. The first bunker does fall, no repair. Stim is completed. We do Stim forward. Boys are being pulled as well. But Nickracht, he's running out of units here. He bleeds out quite a lot. At least takes down that observer. Tank has arrived. Tank is now in position. Cristiano forced back. Combat shield is almost done. And Cristiano is expanding. Instead of trying to pivot into the main base, and I do believe that damage could have been dealt in the main, doesn't even check, doesn't even try. His attention is in the natural instead, which is a good thing for Nickracht, because it means Nickracht he holds. And remember, Cristiano, I'm pretty sure a big reason why he didn't go into the main was because he assumed there was a tank here. He doesn't know how greedy Nickracht was. And Nickracht, he's gotten away with a faster CC. He has gotten away with it. It's up and running. Double E-base on the way. And soon we should be landing this on location. Soon. Stalkers, they do get into the main. Again, tank is in the mineral line at least. We go for the dive. Do we have a repair? We do. Ooh, barely keep the tank alive. The prism, it's so low. We had Stim available, but we did not quite Stim the Marines. Not quite as Cristiano. He does back off, does recall. Meanwhile, we get a scan here at the 3rd base. SCVs are called out. And the prism is coming back towards the natural, while Nickracht positions at the 3rd. And Cristiano being as active as possible. Headed for the natural. Heading straight for that natural base. So we don't have any tanks, no bunkers, no marines. SCVs are going down. Cristiano hoping to drag Nickracht apart, to pull him apart here. We get a tank. Good pick up out of Cristiano. Nickracht still trying to build up. Still trying to stabilize. As behind this is no longer just about the Blink Stalkers. We're taking up into Double Robo, into Colossus production. It's on the way. Can we catch the prism? Up! We can! Late reaction from Cristiano. The prism goes down. Very nice pick up. As Nickracht is still trying to stabilize. 1-1 is about to finish. Armory is on the way for 2-2. Looks like we're just going to be calming things down and working towards a longer game with that 2-2. Nickracht, though, is going to be pushing with his main army, vying for map control, gets the Zilnaga. As he moves out, the Stalkers move in. Again, this observer, it told Cristiano everything he needed to know. He saw the move out, he punished it. At the same time, we do get caught unsieged. The tanks, they get put out one after the other. The tanks are going down. Massive pickoffs, and Nickrat, he has to race back home. What can he do? He has lost the backbone of his army. He lost his tanks, and the Colossi stand strong. Behind this Nickrat, he's working towards Vikings 2-2. Still a heavy bio army. Ghost Academy is done. But Cristiano, he has so much freedom to expand, and there it is. 4th base is up and running for Cristiano. Nickrat is in trouble. What do we have to defend? No Widow Mines. 0 tanks. Vikings are still on the way. Ghost not ready. We just thrown away the army. We head into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Drop tries to come in from behind, but we clean up the drop. And the Colossi, they refuse to go down. GG gets called. Cristiano snowballs out of control and takes game number 1. Whew, GG. A very interesting game there again. Nickrat going crazy, being so greedy in his build and in a way getting away with it, but at the same time, I do think he was a little bit too anxious or a little bit too trigger happy there to move out. If you remember, the moment was when Nickrat moved out from his 3rd. The observer was able to see everything, and he was punished so hard for that. It was bleeding out SCVs at home, and he got caught in the center of the map as well. Cristiano was all over him. And with that, GG, Cristiano takes a 1-0 lead in this series. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Let's go. We're getting ready for game number 2 here. It's going to be on site Delta. Meanwhile, I have confirmation that we do have the upper semifinals ready. We did just have an update, and Honmono fell to Art. It was a best of 3. Art took down Honmono 2-1, and Art advances on into the semifinals. It is going to be a PvP in those upper semis. So we have a Protoss confirmed for the finals, and will it be a PvP or a PvT? We're here to find out. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Terran player, representing Platinum Esports. My God, I keep saying it. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Nickrat. Here we go. As we do find ourselves in game number 2, and I want to believe that we can bounce back. I want to believe that we can get an ace match, but the pressure is now on Nickrat going for a double gas opener. This time it's going to be a Rax into Factory build from Nickrat, something much more aggressive, and the probe scout from Cristiano will confirm this. Cristiano, he sees 1 and 2 gases. He sees, he knows. Is now aware of what's going on. Back at home, Cristiano getting into his own tech, going for his gate expanded disciple core. Standard build here out of Cristiano. Right now it's on him to piece together what's going on. This could be Reaper Hellion, it could be Fast Cyclones, could be a Mine Drop as well. There's a lot of potential here for what Nickrat can bring to the table. This build could even lead into a one base all in. I'm hoping it doesn't, but is potentially available. There's that reactor, so it looks like reactored Reaper with Hellions to support. At least it looks to be the case. Nickrat going for a CC on the low ground. Here comes that Reaper. As Reaper breaks in, we can have a look at our tech of choice. Cristiano, he's once again not going for the Stargate. 2 games in a row, it is going to be a Blink Stalker based opener. Our last game was 4-gate Blink. This time, do we go up to 2, 3, or 4 once again? find out. As yep, it's a reactored Reaper Hellion, as we did mention. The purpose of this is to get economic damage done. We're going to be building up a pretty hefty army, and the goal is to break into the mineral line, to bust up this ramp, to get into a mineral line, to kill probes, to usually avoid the gateway units and just get as many probe kills as we can alongside a scout. We could send everything towards the natural, or we can split up the army, have the Reapers go into the main, and Hellions into the natural instead. We shall see. So we are going to be sending everything across the map. Our Reapers and Hellions. It's going to be 2 Hellions and 3 Reapers in total. There are some that make an extra wave. We head up the ramp, and we do not have a wall! Oh, the wall was 1 second too late. We bust on through. We break past the natural right into the main base. 1 Hellion is targeted down. Good target firing there out of Christianer. The boys are being pulled. How much damage can we get done? 7 probe kills. Oh my god! 7 probes. Can we get another volley? We cannot. We clean everything up, but 7 worker kills is still a pretty damn good amount of damage. And with that, Nickracht, he evens up the worker count. Even takes the lead. And we're not done. We have Banshees on the way. Okay. Much faster tank production this time compared to the previous game, so we're going to be safer against the Blink counterattack. So much faster tank production, Banshees for a counterattack as well. Try to move out. And Christianer, how many gateways? 2 gateways. It's going to be 2 gate Blink into a third. This time a much more economic, greedy build out of Christianer. As opposed to last game where it was 4 gate Blink instead. So this time we do have Christianer focusing on his economy. Meanwhile, Nickracht building up his army, and we are pulling the boys. Oh my god! Okay, we're moving out with everything we have. And this is essentially a 2-base holding the Adept. See! Big scout there from Christianer. He sees the workers, he sees the army. And we're getting ready back at home. Now, Nickracht, he should be ignoring the third and going straight for the natural. I imagine he should be going straight for the kill. If he can get the tanks within range of the Robo, that'll be huge. That would be a massive moment for him. As the soldiers are going to try and slow this down, they're dragging the army towards the left-hand side. They're picking off Marines as well. Tanks are sieging, and we are within range. The Immortal does pop. But that Robo is under fire. And the Robo does go down. At the same time, we dive on top of those tanks. We get 1. We trade 1 tank for the Immortal, and we barely get the 2nd tank as well, but it costs us almost every single Stalker. And does Nickracht have enough? If he had 1 more tank, or if one of the tanks survived, then I do think he could maybe break through and end the game. But without it, he has to back up. There we go, another tank has arrived. Observer gets sniped. Tank is pushing forward. Tank is pushing forward. We're only getting within range of the gateway. So a very tame aggression here from Nickracht. Doesn't want to throw his army away. Within range of the pylon as well. Boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled. We dive on top of the tank. Tank goes down, but what about the Banshees? There is no cloak. But we're down to 1 Banshee, down to 0. As Christianer holds. And Christianer, he saves his 3rd base. He preserves his probe count. Only lost 4 in the process. He's safe and sound. Christianer, he survives. Okay, that was a clutch defense. Now, thankfully, Nickracht, he did have a 3rd base, and he wasn't fully all in. Did bleed out a lot of SCVs, but he has since rebuilt them. He's working on his 3rd on location. So we're calming things down here. Calming things down. I do want to give the edge to Christianer just because with triple Nexus we have a lot of chrono boost to make use of. We're getting into the rest of our production. But I spoke too soon. The 1 Banshee gets 7 probes. Very impressive. Christianer, he's being slowed down quite a bit. Now we're going for a Forge, now we're going for a Bay, this will be for +1, for Colossus production. It's going to take a while to get into this. going to take some time. Cristiano moving out with a handful of stalkers. Back at home, Nickrack looking solid with his tanks. Is looking solid here. He's looking solid. As we can see, Cristiano, he's just fishing for damage, and he does pick up a couple of workers. Very nicely done. That's a lot of upgrades finishing up for Nickrack. Quite a bit, actually. With 1-1, Stim, Concussive, Combat Shields. All wrapping up here for the Terran. Yeah, these are some nice pickups here by Cristiano, getting four STVs. Fourth is on the way, but Nickrack is moving out, and can we hold on? Can we defend? Charge is done. Colossi is still on the way. Here we go for the dive, we go for the pylons. And it looks like we should force a cancel. There it is, we force a cancel on the fourth base. And really nice positioning here against the Zealots, but the army is overstimmed. Medevac is low, Medevac gets targeted. And we are going to clean this up. It's a rough loss for Nickrack. Bleeds out a lot of units, but does at least contain Cristiano to 3 bases, and that may just be worth it, as Nickrack has the better economy, and he's building up quite an army as well. Have that Ghost Academy, as we mentioned before, second starport for Mass Viking, and again, unlike the previous game, Nickrack, he's much more in control. Much more in control here. Getting to our 3rd and 4th Colossus. Yeah. Getting to our 3rd and 4th. Making a 5th Colossus as well. That's why I was a little bit caught off guard. I was like, wait, what? Okay, we're going up to, like, a 4 is already too much. Like, typically we want to stop at 3 and then make disruptors. But we're getting up to 4 Colossus instead. That's insane. The question becomes, how many Vikings is Nickrack going to have? He's got 0 so far. Without Vikings, this quintuple Colossus push can really get damage done. Now, the reason why usually you don't get this many Colossi is because they do overdamage, they do overkill. They swipe and they don't do additional damage if, of course, these hits layer on top of each other, because they just kill everything anyway. So there's a lot of wasted DPS here, depending on how you engage. Of course, you could try to manually target and just spread out your Colossi and maximize your damage. Is possible, but difficult to pull off. Which is why usually you would go into faster disruptors. Meanwhile, drop across the map. Gets 8 workers, trades well with the Zealots, forces the overcharge. Big moment here for Nickrack. Overcharge is going to be on cooldown. We pick up, we get the hell out of here. We try to force to stand our ground. Here comes the main army towards the south. Here comes that main army. Remember, there's no overcharge, not anymore. Cristiano, he's on the map. And we could end up in a base trade. That could be the best answer here for Cristiano. Nickrack, he's pushing in, he gets spotted. Going for the base. And Cristiano cannot turn around, not anymore. There is no recall, Nexus does fall. And we're trading a base for a base. Cristiano, does he go for the main? No, he's going for the 4th. Oh, it is a planetary. Meanwhile, Nickrack, he's going for the kill, going straight for the robo instead. He knows what he wants. Planetary does fall. Probes did escape, bear that in mind. So Cristiano, he can throw down Nexus out on the map. Probes are going down. Nickrack, he sees there's nothing in the main base, but there's one disruptor. Never goes up. Doesn't connect. Busting into that natural as well. There's that ninja base on the way. Pylons, Nexus. All in production for Cristiano. Losing the main base doesn't matter. Not anymore. Meanwhile, the main of Nickrat is holding strong. Does have a sold army. Likewise, Cristiano, he can't push in. He cannot push into the main base. And it looks like it looks like Nickrat in this base trade is coming out on top. He cleans up all the tech here. Did have a recall. We did turn back around. Can Cristiano even take a fight? But never. Never does connect. Vikings, they try to push in. They do barely take down one Colossus. And here come reinforcements from behind. They are on the way. Nickrat, he is being cleaned up. He should hopefully be aware not to engage too prematurely. He's going for the base. Going for the Nexus. He annihilates the economy. Shuts down 13 probes. He gets a kill on the Nexus. But now Nickrat should know that there's a base on the map. There's a base that he has not seen. There's Nexus that has not been spotted, but it may not even matter. We dive on the main army. Stalkers are going down one after the other, and Nickrat, it looks like he's done it. He collapses on the army, and he shuts everything down one after the other. A much stronger game here at the Nickrat. A much stronger start as well. To be able to cripple the economy early on of Cristiano, to minimize his own losses. And now Cristiano, he's down to a handful of buildings that is natural and to 5 zealots. This is his army. 5 zealots. As they reveal themselves, GG gets called. There's no breaking this. There's no coming back. And Nickrat ties up the series 1-1. GG. Does tie things up 1-1. We are going to the ace match. We're going all the way. And again, Nickrat had a much more comfortable start to the game. Able to kill a lot of workers, able to get ahead economically, able to minimize his own losses as well. And settle into his TVP. Very impressive. Very impressive stuff. But now it comes down to the third and final game of this series. Let's go. Let's go. As we get ready for it, I do need a moment. And here we go. We're getting into game 3. We're getting into the ace match, the final game of this series to determine who makes it on into the grand finals. Who'll be our first finals here tonight? As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our red Polish Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nickrat. Here we go. I see the chat. Shema, papi, Shema. Hello, Wormshake. Hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. But I ran out of water, so I had to quickly go and get some water. Quickly had to hydrate myself as we are settling into game number 3. We've spawned into Ghost River. Now, we've spoken about this before, but Ghost River is the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. Aggression is favored here on this map, and we do see Nickrat going for a single gas opener. Single gas here, not double gas, which means economic, which means racks into command center on the low ground, as opposed to the double gas opener that we saw in game number 2. in the last game with that double cast opener. We were able to get into Hellion Reaper, and we got a lot of damage done. We were able to wreak havoc. This time, we're calming down. Meanwhile, Cristiano does confirm this. He does confirm the CC. He's being as annoying as possible, trying to delay it. Command center is thrown down. And speaking of being annoying, Cristiano, he's going for a Zealot first. Now, usually you would be skipping this Zealot unless you thought you were being proxied, but the reason why this works here on this map is because of the rush distance. Because it takes so little time to get across the map, this Zealot, its goal is to get across the map and delay this command center. This probe is already putting in some work. The SCVs are getting low, Reaper is revealed, Bunker's on the way, and this Zealot ideally wants to avoid the Reaper. You can see the Zealot actually skirt around the edge, and the Reaper does come across it. Big scout there by Nicaract. He does come across the Zealot, is going to be able to shut it down, and does force it back. Very well done here by Nicaract. Does catch the Zealot, does buy himself some time to build up back at home. Bunker's finishing up, and Marines are on the way. Things are looking solid here for Nicaract as he does slip into that main base. And back at home, can we get a probe? We can! We get one probe kill, we have our take of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council 3 games in a row. Twilight Council once again. Nicaract does not have eyes on it, not yet. Has to pivot back in. As across the map, that command center does complete. Does finish and will not be delayed. Whew. It's not going to be delayed here. Cristiano, he is going to deny mining time at least. He does make sure that no workers can actually mine from this mineral line, at least until we are able to build up an army. Until then, Nicaract is stuck on a one-base economy. But at least he's muling. At least he's able to mule on up. Behind this, how many gateways? It is going to be Blink, as we can see here. Blink is on the way. We have one gateway in the main. We have one gateway on the way at the natural. 2-gate Blink for now. Did I say 2-gate Blink? There's a 3rd gateway, and do we throw down a 4th? We do. 4-gate Blink out of Cristiano, a very aggressive build. Across the map, the Zealots and Adept are being cleaned up. Ooh, they do get one SCV, but only one worker. As Nicaract, he now has control of his natural base, can go back to mining. The scary thing here is that we have not seen the tech. We don't quite know how aggressive Cristiano is being. Not yet. That's the goal of this Reaper. This Reaper needs to get eyes on the Twilight Council and also needs to get eyes on the gateways. Reaper is pushing. Behind this, we're getting into a mine drop follow-up, followed by the tech lab. This tank production is going to be delayed because of the Widow mine drop. We'll see if it's worth it. We'll see if it is worth it. 2 gateways have been spotted, Stalkers as well. Not a bad scout.
Add-on complete.
So we're aware of at least 3 gates. And this Widow mine drop is going to confirm the 4th gateway. With that confirmation, bunkers. There we go. We can see a 2nd bunker at the natural. We should be seeing a bunker in the main. Tank production well underway. Widow mine drop is denied. But we're at least keeping Cristiano busy. And Nicaract, he's getting ready for the worst. He's getting ready for the 4-gate Blink. He knows. More or less, he does realize what's going on. The scan takes down the Observer. Big pick off. Big pick off there. The Observer did go down. We still have high ground vision. Cristiano is moving out. They're reinforcing with Stalkers. He can threaten the main. There is a tank set up for it. 2nd tank is halfway done. Mine drop comes in. But mine drop does unload. We're going for the mineral line. Oh, we're going for the probes. Ooh, good dodges so far. Yeah, 1 Stalker goes down for 3 Widow mines. Pretty good trading by Cristiano. Does bleed out a couple more probes. Cristiano can now focus on his push. Likewise, Nicaract can focus on his defense. Now he's up to 2 tanks. Now he's up to 2 tanks here. 1 on the low ground, 1 on the high ground. Vikings are getting up and running. Cristiano is going in. Oh, Stim. Stim just started. Stim is exposed. The tank is not within range. And Stim, it's going to get denied. Big pick off. Stim goes down. We got Stim. We got a Marauder. Nicaract rotating back around. Stim is restarted. You can see how large this main base is. We dive on the tank. It goes down as well. Nicaract will punish this. At least somewhat. But this is still a better trade for Cristiano. Across the map, 3rd base has been thrown down, not delayed. because they will get away. We do bleed out 10 Stalkers in total. It's been a rough trade here for Cristiano. There's have been some rough trades. Third CC now going to be on the way. We're back into the main base. Nick Rat, he gets caught out. Gets caught off guard. Another Viking falls as well. We're just getting so much done. A scary amount done. Now, as we have been picking away at the army, Nick Rat, he's able to get back into Stim. With Stim, he can now move out. He can push. Nick Rat can be more active on the map, and we'll see if he can do anything about this third. Because the third is now well underway. Instead, yeah, Nick Rat, has to wait for his upgrades. We have +1, we have combat shields. His upgrades are so heavily delayed. So we get into main base, we catch another tank, no shot! Brutal pick off, tank goes down, we delay the third CC, we go for the Viking as well. These Stalkers, they've gotten far too much done. And I feel like we're pretty committed. Nick Rat, we gotta go. Prism's recalled back home. Tanks are getting within range. Like, this needs to trade well. Charge does complete just in time. We get on top of the tanks. One tank goes down, second tank as well. Cristiano, he's completely shutting this down. Does focus down those medevacs. Gets one and now he's going for another. And Nick Rat gets the kite all the way back home, bleeding out far too much. Again, this 4-gate blink just did way too much damage here as we're able to focus out even more Marauders. We run out of steam. GG gets called. And Cristiano, he overwhelms and he takes the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. It went all the way to the ace match. It went all the way to game number 3. It was a very, very impressive showing there from both players. Again, I want to put some emphasis on Nick Rat because he took down Geralt. He took down Geralt to make it here to the semis. Went to the ace match against Cristiano. Very well done. Unfortunately, was not able to go the distance to go all the way, but a solid performance nonetheless. And congratulations to Cristiano for making it into those grand finals. Congratulations. And with that, we're going to be getting ready for our next series, for our next semifinals. But before we do, a big shout out to Sort of in the chat. Oh my god, Bobby, once again giving us a raid. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome everyone, welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 46. This is our weekly open tournament. It is open to all regions, to all players. We have players from Southeast Asia, from Korea, from the Americas, and from Europe, all coming together here in this tournament on this bracket. Speaking of, Cristiano just advanced on to the grand finals, and who does he face off against? Bit of a spoiler, it's going to be a Protoss, but which Protoss player? Yet to be determined. As we switch our scene over and have a look at the bracket. We will switch our scene over, and from the top you can see here, Art took down Hormono 2-1, Nightmare took down Eba 2-0, and that is our upper semifinals. Nightmare versus Art, Korea versus Europa. Here before you, here and now. Ready for Art versus Nightmare. So again, congratulations to Cristiano. I can actually just move the bracket over a little bit here. But yeah, for those that may be tuning in for the first time, who are maybe unfamiliar, welcome to the CranKy Ducklings. We are a casting team, and we are quite active here. We cast on a daily basis on the CranKy Ducklings. Every single day we're live, and at times like today, we are live multiple times a day. For example, yesterday we were live with WTL, with Sea Duckling Open, and with the KSL. Yesterday we have 3 broadcasts back to back to back. Today we have 2. Today we have Sparkling Tuna Cup, followed by World Team League later on in the evening. We do have 2 broadcasts back-to-back. So right after we wrap up Sparkling Tuna Cup, we will have World Team League, Code A, one of our final days of World Team League. Just as a heads up. So yeah, that is what we do have before us. If you're curious about this event itself, Sparkling Tuna Cup is one of our own. It is organized and hosted by the CranKy Ducklings. Because of all the support that we get on the channel, whether it's donations, subscriptions, Patreon, we're able to fund tournaments like the Sparkling Tuna Cup, which is an open tournament to all regions. If you want to support this tournament even further, you can do so via Patreon. We have goals set up to boost the prize pool, to pay out a higher amount, not just a higher amount, but to more players as well. Right now it's top 2, but we can eventually pay out top 4 as well if the event does grow large enough. But here we go, we're getting into our next best of 3, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Art. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, currently teamless, but he is a Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. It is Nightmare. Here we go, Nightmare coming into this as the #1 seed. He is one of the best Protoss players out there. And what is scary is that arguably Nightmare has the best PvP in all of South Korea. The best PvP. We've seen Nightmare take down Classic, Hero, Creator, you name a Korean Protoss, and Nightmare has brought them down recently. That's how damn good his PvP is. So it's going to be quite a mountain to climb for both Art and Christiana. We have 3 Protoss players left in the tournament. We will have a Protoss champion. Right now, the storyline is, can either of these Polish Protoss players bring down Nightmare? With Art and Christiana standing in his way. Here we go. So now it's going to be a 2-gate opener. Going to be a double gate opener out of Nightmare. Likewise, a 2-gate opener out of Art. Oh, my apologies. I got ahead of myself. It's going to be a 2-gate opener out of Nightmare. It's going to be a gate expand out of Art. Nightmare, he checks, he does confirm, and Nightmare, he will delay that expansion, being as annoying as possible. Forces out a Zealot as well. And Art will finally expand, forced to throw down a Sentry first, though, because of how annoying this probe has been. And there we go. Now we have the Nexus. So we have a very greedy build here out of Art. It's going to be on Nightmare to punish this. It's going to be on Nightmare to try to bring this down. Following this, I imagine Art is going to be going for a Stargate. We do have the gas for it. Oh, we have the gas income getting there, I should say. As Sentry does target down the probe. And Nightmare, he's going from double Adept into quadruple Adept. We have 4 Adepts on the way. We could even go up to 5 and 6. We could double down on Adept Aggression. And it's going to be on Art to minimize his losses, to wall up and make sure these shades do not get into the main. Set up to do throw in the shade. They don't commit. As a reminder, when it comes to PvP, in the new patch, the Sentry has been buffed. It is now tankier and it does more damage as well. For those curious about the specifics, I believe it does bonus damage to shields. So because of that, specifically in PvP with shield units, it does more damage. Likewise, it is no longer a light unit, which means Adepts and Oracles do less damage to Sentries. As Adepts and Oracles do bonus to light, and Sentries are no longer light. So again, those were changes made specifically to buff Sentries in PvP, just to allow this to be a much more safer and secure way to play. To remove some of the chaotic randomness that can take play in Protoss vs. Protoss. Meanwhile, we spoke about massing Adepts. We have how many? Not just 6, we have 8. 8 Adepts here. With enough Adepts, we could focus down the pylons. The pylon blocks that we've been seeing could be focused down by the mass amount of Adepts. We do throw in the shade. Do we have a gateway? Just a pylon for now. And We threaten the middle line. We commit! We commit to the shade and we focus on as many probes as we can. 4 probes go down and the sentry. Overcharge is popped. Sentry survives. And again, if this was last patch, sentry would have gotten picked off. A very tight hold there from Art. Forces back the Adepts. Behind this, Art going for a Dark Shrine. Not going for a Stargate. We have Blink on the way instead. Blink on the way for Art. Blink on the way for Nightmare. And both players are going to Dark Shrines. Oh my god, Protoss! They're both animals, Papi. The Invisible Man is on the way. The Invisible Men are on the way. For both Art and Nightmare. And neither player has scouted. Not yet. Art can always go for the Hallucination. Adepts say don't quite shade in yet. Keeping Art on his toes. Keeping him pulling back. As we do manage to catch some of these Stalkers. Do get one. Yes, I do catch a Stalker. Are taking a 3rd base. As he moves out of position, though, we are... Okay, not quite going for the natural. We thought about it, though. I mean, he does calm down. Getting his own 3rd as well. Both players are expanding. Dark Shrines are finishing. And where are the Dark Templar? We don't have them yet. Very important Hallucination Scout moving out. We haven't seen the tech in quite some time. And there we go. We have 2 Dark Templar moving out towards the bases of Nightmare. Meanwhile, Nightmare likewise morphing in a Dark Templar. Headed for the natural. Only 1 though. We have no detection, by the way. We have no robo. If there were more DTs, this could have been much more impactful. But here we go. Detection is not available for either player. Probes are going to be going down. We have a DT in the main base. Meanwhile, DTs across the map in the main and the natural. And probes are going down. And how many workers exactly? Before we get detection. Observer is being chronoed as we speak. It's going to be 7, 8 worker kills now. 0 mining in the main base. Remember, Art, he still has the robo in production. No detection. It's so late. It's so delayed. Meanwhile, the Observer does pop. We clean up the Dark Templar. Nightmare, he holds, and he only loses 13 probes. Meanwhile, across the map, 23 and counting. And this may just be too much. This may just be game. 27 probes go down. The Invisible Man just does far too much. Nightmare is stabilizing. Art, he's still... His economy is still in the gutter. Still not looking good. That 1 DT gets found. And from here, Nightmare, he has a 12 worker lead. 42 probes to the... Sorry, 44 probes to the 32 of Art. And what can Art do from here other than remaking all those workers? Or going for an all-in? An all-in would make a lot of sense. So Nightmare is going to be pushing. Last runs into an army here. Oh, doesn't quite make his way up the ramp. Not quite. DT, oh, sorry, not even DTs. That episode do come back in. They get 2 probes on the right-hand side. They shade towards that natural base. One of them does make it in. Archie's just trying to keep up. Just barely. I mean, the army supplies are pretty comparable. That's what I will say. The army supplies are very comparable with each other. But Nightmare, he does catch Art out of position. He goes for the pylon, shuts down the shield battery. There is no overcharge. Stalkers, they try to dive on in. They blink over the wall. Not a bad concave here from Art. Not a bad fight. Last one is still not done for Nightmare. And he gets forced out of the 3rd. And the Adept's aggression just doesn't end. I mean, Art is able to chase down Nightmare and now trade him, definitely, against those Stalkers. But even more probes are going down, and Art, he already had a crippled economy. It was already in shambles. Now even more so. And Art, he's all in. At this point, he's completely all in. It's all or nothing for our pink Polish Protoss player. And Nightmare, he's more than ready for this. We do have slow lots instead of charge lots, to be fair. Which is less than ideal. But he's in position, that's what matters. 8 probes go down across the map. Art rotates around towards the natural. Nightmare does not get eyes on the army. He doesn't see. Oh. Doesn't see. Doesn't know what's going on. If Art can out position nice, get into the natural, maybe get into the main. It's possible. The army is spotted. So right, we get the prison. Prison does get sniped. Big pig off there by Nightmare. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and Nightmare will take game number 1. Whew. After a chaotic game 1 as well. Jesus, GG. It was an interesting dynamic where both players were playing kind of similarly. Both players went towards Blink into Dark Shrine, and the DTs were getting a lot of damage done. Neither player had detection, but Nightmare was slightly faster with his Observer than Art. Did minimize his losses, did clean up those DTs. Art had a much harder time. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. Nightmare is 1 game away from advancing on into the grand finals. Onomas is all he needs. Meanwhile, the pressure is on Art to tie things up. Here and now in our next game. Here we go. All does come down to this. As hopefully I don't get left behind. Players just creating their lobbies, getting things ready. There we go. Game number 2 is going to be on Oceanborn. Let's go. Here we go. Oceanborn. Another one of these. Oh, now we're going back to one of these older maps. And I'm curious how we do approach this. Oceanborn, not a bad map for aggression for all-ins. We'll see how aggressive Nightmare wants to be here. I can definitely see him trying to take advantage of this map, but we'll see as we are loading in. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our pink Polish Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Art. Not to be confused with the other Protoss player that's also on the Platinum Heroes that also is called Art. Not that one, this one. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss leading the series 1-0. Can he be stopped? Can anyone slow this man down? It is Nightmare. Oh boy, here we go. Again, Nightmare, he's known for his PvP, has some of the best Protoss versus Protoss in the world. And there are only Protoss players left. That's the scary thing right now. Only Protoss players do remain. As the Probe Scout is moving out across the map. And this time it's going to be a 2-gate opener from Art. This time there's no crazy economic opener. At least not this time. Meanwhile, likewise, Nightmare also going 2-gate as well. So 2 gateways into a Cyber Core, into an eventual expansion. Some players like to throw down tech first before the Nexus. Something like a Robo or a Twilight Council. Or even a Stargate. Is not unheard of. keep an eye on our players. So for now, we're just trying to get eyes on our first units of choice. Cyber Cores are finishing up. And what's it going to be? It's going to be Stalker Sentry out of Arts. Meanwhile, we have Double Stalker from Nightmare. Now, Stalker Sentry is a much more defensive opener here. It does allow you to not just be defensive, but also get a scout across the map. It does give you access to the hallucination from that Sentry. It's a very safe play out of Art. Meanwhile, the Double Stalker could lead into a 3rd and 4th Stalker. We could move out. We can now DPS the army here, the units of Art, and try to apply pressure and cause havoc across the map early on. A much more assertive composition and assertive playstyle. There we go. The pylon is cancelled. Stalkers are moving out. Just getting in position to protect that base. Nightmare is the first to expand Arts, throwing his own Nexus down shortly thereafter. And as we get into our expansions, what is our tech going to be? We have a Twilight Council out of Nightmare, so he's working towards playing Stalkers. I imagine Art is going to do the same. I imagine. As the hallucination does slip in. Does slip into the main base. Gets a full scout as well, so Art, he does confirm the Twilight Council, does confirm the Blink is on the way. Meanwhile, Art is going into his own Twilight Council base play as well. Unfortunately, it's a little bit later. The reason for this is because we warped in extra sentries, just to be safer. So Art, he was more concerned with being safe and secure, more so than being efficient. So he's like a couple of seconds behind, but it's only a couple of seconds, not the biggest of deals. Outside of that, we are mirroring each other, just slight deviations here and there. So we're settling into our game. Settling into our build. See a bit of a dance going on here between the Adepts and Stalker. Art does make it back. 3rd base has been thrown down. Getting into our 3rd. Nightmare doing the same. So honestly, it's been a pretty passive game so far. Very little unit interaction, very little aggression. Both players just kind of doing their own thing. Just checking each other, making sure that everything is as it should be, making sure that there's no cheese as we get into 3-base saturation. Here we go. Meanwhile, as we settle into our PvP, a big shout out to GG Machine. Ga, papi, ga. / shout out at GG Machine. Welcome back. Big shout out to GG Machine, of course, a Zerg player, a very strong Zerg player to his own right. Where were you today? You could have been to the tournament. But thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Welcome to the upper semifinals. We are here to determine who makes it onto the grand finals to face off against Cristiano in that best of 5. As Nightmare does catch a couple of Stalkers. Ooh, 2 Stalkers do get picked off, going for a 3rd. For a 3rd Stalker, forcing back the army. Big shout out to Chileno Singaporean in the chat as well for subscribing for 38 months. That's a lot of months. That's over 3 years of support. Thank you so much, Chileno. Gracias, bro. Gracias. Yeah. On top of that, also a big shout out to Hatsu as well. It was at the very start of the broadcast. I didn't even mention it. I apologize. But Hatsu also did resubscribe for 6 months as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for all of the support, whether it's raids, whether it's subscriptions. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Do appreciate it. But the units of Stalkers that were just trading here and there, just posturing more than anything. 4th base on the way for Nightmare. 4th base soon to be on the way for Art as well. Again, even as we get into our 3-base saturation, we're working towards our 4ths, and we're still just chilling. We're waiting for our Gateway Explosion, just a very passive style. This is what I would have expected out of Art. I was not expecting this out of Nightmare, though. Nightmare just, yeah, calming things down quite a bit, as opposed to the more chaotic game 1. We're chill, papi. We're chill. Has been more chill. Meanwhile, Adepts, they do shade in towards that natural base. We do manage to get a couple of probes. 5, 6 probes go down. We shade in towards that third base as well. We're looking to get another probe. Alas, unable to, but 6 probes for 2 Adepts. Very good trade here. Very good damage by Art. Art does take a slight worker lead. And we're still just building up here. Still just getting ready for an eventual push. We got Charge Ults. We got Blink Stalkers. We have +2 on the horizon. We have much faster tech out of Art. That's the biggest deviation here, is that Art has a Templar Archives. Nightmare does not. And Archons, they can play a really big role here in this defense, as they just melt through Zealots. Speaking of Zealots, they head towards that natural base. Zealots, they peel off towards the mineral line. Good force fields here, but the Archon does break through. And as Nightmare distracts the main army, these Zealots, they're wreaking havoc. They get 7 probes here in the natural base. The army comes back in, shaving off even more Zealots. Again, just a really good engage out of Nightmare, pulling apart the army of Art. And just focusing down Zealots, picking them off one after the other. And reinforcements have arrived. Nightmare, he has the better concave. He collapses on this army. Links are looking strong here from Nightmare. Art's coming in with some Zealots though. And a handful of Zealots is all you need. Nightmare bleeding out a lot here as he races back home. And we have a back and forth here. Nightmare, they're reinforcing with even more Stalkers. It's basically purely Stalker from Nightmare. More of an amalgamation of an army from Art. Charge to the Archon Stalker. Is pushing in, but he's down to 2 Archons. So we're down to 3. He's gonna pull back. He's gonna pull back home. And it's just continuing to build up his own Archon and Immortal count. Nightmare doing no such thing. Just a purely gateway army out of Nightmare. It's much more mobile as a result. It's cheaper as well, so it's easier to replace. It's mobile, it's cheap. And you can try to surround this army. It's going to be the ideal for Nightmare. If you can get a good engage, if you can get a good surround, he will clean this up. That's a big if. Here we go, we dive on the army, we go for the Prism. Prism goes down. But a lot of Stalkers are going to be going down here to the Zealots. Not a bad trade for Art. He punishes the dive. Nightmare, he may have gotten the Prism, but he bleeds out a lot of Stalkers. This is still anyone's game. Nightmare down in army supply. And again, the quality of this army from Art is just surpassing that of Nightmare. Becoming too much. Art just regrouping. Looks like, yeah, he's waiting for the War Prism as it has been rebuilt. As he waits, though, we have a bit of a counterattack here. Art dragged all the way back home. And this is buying so much time for Nightmare as he builds up his own 5th. Still remaxing. Now he decides to tech. Begrudgingly so. Prism gets sniped, but again, I don't think he wanted to take into Archons or Immortals, but now he has to. And Art has a massive lead. Art has a massive lead. And can he be stopped? Can we force the ace match? We're so close. Art is up 20 supply. I say 20, he's up almost 40 army supply. Here we go, he does push on in, and he's snowballing out of control. Nightmare has a lot of workers tied up here. He's got 83 probes to the 68 of Art, but that does eat into his supply. Does eat into his army. And Art, he's snowballing out of control. He's doing it. He's breaking through. Cleans up the Zealots, gets into the mineral line as well. Nightmare forced against the wall. And he just cannot stop Art. GG gets called, and Art ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG. Very well played. Very impressive here. Art is the first to make Nightmare bleed. He's the first to take a game here in tonight's broadcast off of Nightmare. Very well done. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. We're going to game number 3. And this could still go either way. What I will say is that, again, Nightmare was a lot more passive in this game, and Art was able to spread his wings because of that. I'm sure he would have loved this is what he wanted, this is what he loved, is to get into a longer, more standard game. I expect we won't see that in game 3. I'm waiting for some hyper aggression here out of Nightmare. Clearly that's where he thrives. Clearly that's where he's at his best. These long games where nothing happens. Nah, not anymore. Not anymore. Let's go. So getting into game number 3, the final game of this series to determine who will advance on to face up against Christiana in that final round in the grand finals. When it comes to WTL, it's starting up in 45 minutes or so. I will say that we will obviously wrap up and focus on Sparkly Tuna Cup first, and we will delay WTL at least until we finish this up, then we'll be jumping right into it thereafter. That is the goal, that is the plan. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have our pink Polish Protoss player, tying up the series 1-1, forcing that ace match. Can he go all the way? It is Art. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player himself from South Korea, representing himself, currently teamless, deserving to be on a team, but being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is Nightmare. As a reminder, Nightmare is the favored player here to win the entire tournament. But here in the semifinals, he may have met his match. He's being forced into an extended series. Let's go. Is it being forced into it? And what is our plan going to be here on Alkione? Again, there are some gold bases that you can try to take advantage of. Definitely. There are some golds. In general, though, this map is quite large. It's huge. It's massive. And as a result, this does usually go into longer games. It's going to be a 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener from Nightmare. Double gate opener out of Art as well. Looking as it should. Nothing looking crazy yet. No one has opted to go for an all-in. No one has opted to proxy or cheese. Barely at all in this series. Second pylon has been thrown down. It is spotted and scattered by both players. So we know that there is no proxy. And it's going to be double adept out of Nightmare. It is going to be Stalker Sentry once again out of Art. This has been the go-to opener here from Art for the past couple of games. This entire series, actually. We'll see if Nightmare can break through those defenses and make these adepts worth it. Again, we could just double down and go from 2 to 4 to 6 to even up to 8. As we did see in the previous game. Can invest quite hard. As it's going to be double adept into double stalker. Okay. We are mixing it up. We are going to be mixing it up. As adepts they get across the map. Headed towards that natural. There is no probe in position. Oh! Now on the way. Say shade in, and it looks like they do manage to make their way into the main. We commit to the shade. We get one probe. Oh, we get one. We get two, and it looks like we should get a third. 3 workers go down. Ooh, a 4th as well. We do manage to trade the adepts for 4 pros. We also scout the main base. We get eyes on the Twilight Council. A good start. A good start for Nightmare. Very nice start here. Behind this, he's not done with his aggression. He's getting into Oracle production. First, Oracle's moving out. He's headed for those mineral lines. Thankfully, Art scouted. With the hallucination, he saw the Stargate. He's getting ready back at home. We have Stalkers and Sentries in position in the main. The Natural has nothing to kill. Not enough in that Natural tree to take advantage of, and Art, so for now, Art is holding. Revelational. Let's get the Revelation. Oracle's going to race back. Behind this, Blink is on the way for both players. No one is deviating. No one is rushing into early charge or early robo production or sky toss. We're calming things down. And this could be another passive game, to be honest, just like the previous one. This could just be like another chill 3 and 4 base setup, and then we pop off. Shall see. We shall see, as we do have a Nightmare parked outside the base. Does attempt to push in. There is no shield battery. No shield battery, no overcharge. We threaten that robo. Don't quite get the kill though. Don't force the cancel. Not yet. Not yet, as we do have Nightmare pivoting around. Still trying to find a way in. Still has that Oracle threading the base. The Oracle still has yet to pay for itself. So far, good defense of Art. Good setup here as Art is taking his 3rd base and should be able to hold on to it. I'm a little bit surprised that we still have yet to throw down a shield battery at the Natural. It's quite greedy. It is quite greedy. And Nightmare, he wants to push in. Does want to push. Has a stage trap set up. It's going to be 12 Stalkers to 10. Goes to the time. Ooh, baits out a shot with the hallucination. Very nice bait there by Art. Baits out a volley. But Nightmare, he does sneak past and he gets into the main. Ooh, this should not have happened. Art's out of position. This should not have happened. As we get into the main base, we do take control of some of the tech here. As the Forge does survive, Nightmare, well, unable to focus anything down, but he does get some probes. Does get full workers, forces out some force fields. Does trade a Stalker for a Stalker, then does eventually get the hell out of there. Very nice run by. As long as we can get away. Very nice run by there from Nightmare as he's racing back. Here across the map, Nightmare is getting to his own Immortal production. Gateway explosion. Oracle gets in. Ooh, but does get sniped. The big off by Art. And again, can he go all the way? Like, the economies are pretty comparable with each other. Army compositions as well. I guess the difference here is that the Immortals from Nightmare. The Immortals are coming. The Immortals are coming. Meanwhile, Art is working towards Charged Archon instead. No Immortals. Immortals are ideal against Stalkers, less so against Adepts and Art and Zealots. So we have more Warpins on the way. Additional Warpins, and yeah, just once again, we're just chilling. We're just calming things down. They heard, yo, I heard like Korean PvP is meant to be wild and dynamic, and it is, but that's not what we're getting here. Nightmare's just chilling, doesn't want to make a mistake. Occupy Soul's Art. And here we go. Art, is pushing out. Moving out with his entire army, actually. I'm back at home. Okay, we have 2 Immortals. We have a comparable Stalker count. We have a comparable Zealot count. 2 Immortals against 2 Archons. Another big Warping is coming in. And do we have enough? With good enough control, I mean, Nightmare is getting into his own Archons. Art no longer does have that tech advantage. You can see Nightmare trying to collapse on this. So is Art. And it's still on a knife's edge. Who can take who? So Hardy, he's just backing off. He's like, you know what? I don't want this. I don't want to fight. I was just joking, Bobby. It was just joke. It was just jokes. Hardy's racing back. 4th base is on the way for both players. They're both getting up and running. I just at least get 1 probe kill. Just the one. And the armies are about to max out. I do like this a lot more for Art, specifically because of this bay. We have the bay on the way. This is going to be for Disruptors. Art, he's taking up towards the ideal PvP army, and Nightmare, he's 1 step behind. He is avoiding Disruptors entirely. He is avoiding those Disruptors. He's relying on a purely gateway-based army instead. Pushing on the right-hand side. Is pushing. Art's a little bit out of position. He has half his army out on the map. Oh, now it's not the time. Art, he doesn't turn around, by the way. We have to defend. We have to defend with what little we have. We're going to force a force field. Force a recall. Force field's being shut down. Overcharge is popped. First Archon gets targeted. And Nightmare, again, he just caught Art completely off guard. He was out of position. Half the army goes down in an instant. And now we have the second half of the army. Again, Art, alas, was just not ready for this. 1 swift move, 1 strong fight. GG gets called. And Nightmare will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, things were so close between the 2 of them, between both Nightmare and Art. I was very impressed with how they did compete and perform with each other. But as we saw there, all it takes is 1 wrong move. Art, he sent half his army out on the map, which means he was fighting with only half his force, not with the other half. By the time he recalled, it was too late. Fights that happen so quickly here in StarCraft, happen so very quickly, you have so little time to respond. And every second does count. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Nightmare. My condolences to Art. What I will say, though, is that he was able to hold his own in a more standard, longer macro game. He even did take down Nightmare. So very impressive that they had that back and forth. But in the end, Nightmare, he will claim the win there. Now we have 1 series left. We're down to the grand finals. Let's go. The grand finals are upon us. Oh, hold on. Do you have to fix that up? Got to fix that up here, as it is going to be Nightmare versus Cristiano. There we go, in the grand finals. And this is going to be a best of 5 PvP. Go. So just fix this up and get things going. Now, as we're getting ready for the grand finals, we have something special to do. We have something unique here to our tournaments. we have a random raffle. We have a random raffle to conduct. It is going to be 5 USD. 5 USD is going to be available here for one of our lovely players. From a player that did compete tonight. It could be anyone. It could be someone that got knocked out in the first round, like Mindo VK. It could be someone that made it all the way to the finals, like Cristiano or Nightmare. All players are equally eligible here for this random raffle. Who's it going to be? Who is going to get it? We are here to find out. Oh boy. I just need a moment to check, to get that raffle ready and to conduct it. Un momento. Here we go. You can see it before you. We have 15 eligible players this week. We have 15 players. We had 16 check-ins, but remember, Ashbringer did not compete. Ashbringer didn't play out his games, so there was a forfeit. Ashbringer is ineligible for the random raffle, and here we go. Again, this is just a way to incentivize participation. You know, it's a way to spread the love and give it out to some of these other players out there that maybe don't make these deep runs, but give them a little something to, you know, give them reason to compete and to participate and to play. Here we go. That's at least our rationale for this. You can see we're ready. The drum roll. Hold on, I'll get a tissue box. And congratulations to this week's random raffle winner. This week it is going to be, oh my god, Azura. GG, congratulations. Congratulations here to Azura, the Italian Protoss player, for winning that random raffle, for claiming that 5 USD. GG, well played. My condolences to the runner-ups. Doesn't mean anything, but you can see there, Geralt, Honmono, Iba, Groovy Man barely did not make the cut. Barely did not make the cut, and so that wins the random raffle. Barely did not make the cut, but congratulations to Azura. Again, looking at the bracket itself, we can actually just move on over here and we can actually have a look. Azura got knocked out in the first round, went to the ace match against Honmono, but did go down, but at least took a map and does earn a little bit of money. A little bit of cash prize money there, so GG, well done. Mr. Ready. As we can now sink our teeth into our grand finals. The vetoes are already done. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. But the vetoes are done, and now we're getting into our best of 5 grand finals. Here we go. Finals are here. And if you're in the chat, predictions will be open. You can place your bets on who you believe is going to take the series, who you believe is going to come out on top. Best of luck. Best of luck. So I quickly just set that up. Predictions open. There we go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our blue Polish Protoss player representing his new team, Starlight Twinkle. He is our challenger. Can he redeem his fallen countryman here in art? It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. He came into this as the #1 seed. Can anyone stop him? Can anyone bring him down? In the semifinals, he was shown that he is mortal. He was shown to bleed as Art did take off a map. Can his new opponent do more than that? Here we have Nightmare. Here we go. Our best of 5 is here. As we settle into this, our first probe going to be moving out across the map. It is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Cristiano, 2-gate opener out of Nightmare. Everything's looking normal, at least initially. And we're just making sure we get eyes on our pylon setups. Let's go. Cybercore has been thrown down. Cristiano, he's out of the map. going for his own probe scout as well. A little bit more delayed compared to Nightmare, but moving out nonetheless. And Nightmare does confirm the placement of the second pylon, is aware that there is no cheese, there is no proxy. Likewise, Cristiano will do the same. We do confirm. I see the chat. Why not me? Este Hon Mono. You're an animal. You're an animal. What do you mean? You make more than enough being Hon waifu, okay? It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. Shaking my head. Ah. But yes, for now, it's going to be just standard openers. We're getting into our first units of choice. It's going to be double Stalker out of Cristiano, double Stalker out of Nightmare. Everything looking as it should. As we do settle into this grand finals. Again, to get here, Nightmare, he took down Eva, he took down Art, took down some big names. Again, he was fortunate into the ace match earlier. Likewise, so was Cristiano. Cristiano had his own rocky road here to the finals, dropping maps to both Nicaract and Shameless as well. So it has been quite a tense, quite a close road here to these finals for both players. Now they face off against each other. Sentries are on the way. Just again, a very safe way to play here. Cristiano will have access to hallucinations to scout across the map. Likewise, so will Nightmare. So far, just very safe openers. Nightmare does have the Stalker lead. He's moving out. Back at home, Cristiano, he's finishing up his shield battery. So even though Cristiano doesn't have as many Stalkers, with the help of the shield battery, he should be okay. Should be able to hold on. Stalker about pushing in. Do get a volley off. Behind this, because Cristiano didn't invest as heavily into these Stalkers, he has a faster Twilight Council, so faster Blink from Cristiano. Meanwhile, a little bit later here for Nightmare. Only by a couple of seconds. Only by a couple. So this Blink is on the horizon. Also on the way for Nightmare. And we may end up in a more passive early to mid game, just like what we saw against Art. I was a little bit surprised to see it, but based on our openers, based on our unit compositions, it does kind of lean towards that direction. Unless we see a gateway explosion. Like, unless players delay their third base in favor of gateways, we should be going for a longer game. Speaking of a third base, it's now on the way for Nightmare. It is spotted. Cristiano spots it, he sends a probe immediately. As he moves out, Nightmare is moving in. Nightmare is going to be threatening that third base, and up! Goes to the kill! Does force a cancel. A big cancel there from Nightmare. Very nicely done. Does get the cancel, backs off. Behind this, getting his own third base up and running. So Nightmare does have a slight economic lead here against Cristiano. Does have that slight lead. Cristiano going to try and chase this back. Force fields are thrown down. Finishing up his shield batteries are going to be thrown down, and here we go. We draw actually the high ground for Nightmare. Does have the concave. Cristiano, he blinks on forward. Blink is done for him. Done for both players. It looks like with the reinforcements, with the defender's advantage, Cristiano, does he barely have enough? He does. He barely does have enough. He forces back Nightmare. Takes a bit of trade. Takes a bit of fight. Takes out another Stalker in the retreat as well. Good pickoffs by Cristiano. Looking at the resources lost tab here. Nightmare bleeds out 8 Stalkers. Cristiano only bleeds out 6. Not the biggest of differences here, not the biggest of wins, but a win nonetheless for our Polish Protoss. Whew. From here, the game is going to settle down. We're going to be settling down into our next site, into our 3-base setup. Forges are on the way, gateways, robos as well. Things are going to be calming down here. we'll see what kind of deviations we get into here once again. Cristiano, he's the first to kind of diversify his composition a little bit here, going in towards charge. +1 and charger on the way. Nightmare has yet to start his own. Just focusing on pure Blink Stalker. See Cristiano trying to distract his opponent. They do shade in. They shade into the natural. Probes are going down. Very nice damage. We got 3, we got 4. Then we got 5. Not quite. But 4 probes fall. Behind this Cristiano, he is expanding, taking his 4th. Has a better economy. Snipes a lot of his opponent's workers, of course. Just has to survive that eventual counterattack that is coming as Nightmare is making his prism. Getting into his war prism, pushing out through the center of the map. Cristiano, he does not see, does not know. Cristiano is now getting into his own gateways, but I believe they're already done for Nightmare. Yep, he's on 8. Nightmare is on 8 gateways. He does come across these stalkers, gets 1, he gets 2. Good trades for Nightmare. He does bleed out a little bit more here towards the end. Oof. Do manage to get away. Do manage to try to get away here, but no, Cristiano, he's chasing Nightmare down. At the same time, though, we do manage to get 5 probe kills. It's like here towards that natural. Cristiano refusing to turn around. Prism is across the map to harass. There we go. Zelts are on the way. Meanwhile, Cristiano, he doesn't care. He's warping in as much as he can here in the face of Nightmare. Here we go. Once again, he does have a bit of concave. And there's no saving this 4th base. No shot. Zelts, they go for the probes. Likewise, Zelts across the map also harassing as well. Probes are going down for both players. Gonna be a lot of damage, but Cristiano, he does get a kill on the Nexus. Prism gets into the main. Zelts still pushing towards the 3rd. Zelts still moving out. Oh, the Zelts are on move command. No! They were on move command there. In the main base, we should clean this up. We still have a Prism as well. That is threatening, and we force a recall. Brutal recall there from Cristiano. As it looks like Nightmare is going for a big counterattack. Cristiano, he's not ready for it. He still has not dealt with these zealots. They're still doing too much. The Prism finally did go down. Finally got sniped. As this is not the first time that we've seen Nightmare outposition Cristiano. Just dragging him over towards that 4th base. Catching Zealots. Catching Sentries as well. And Nightmare, it's going to be his turn to take a better fight. Zealots are coming from behind. They collapse him from behind, and it looks like Nightmare should have more than enough. As he's breaking on through the defensive line. No shield battery, no overcharge. Not enough reinforcements. I say that, there's another warp in. There's barely another warp in, but we also have Zealot reinforcements of our own. And Nightmare, he is breaking through just barely. GG gets called. He breaks the defenses, and Nightmare will take game number 1. Ooh, GG. A very close game, to be honest. Very close, very back and forth in general there between Nightmare and Cristiano. But in the end, Cristiano, he maybe bled out a little bit too much in his own aggression. He triggered a counterattack. And time again, we saw Nightmare able to just catch Cristiano out of position at that 4th base location. Was able to just get a better angle of attack, get a better position, get a better concave, a better arc, and just out-trade his opponent. Oh, GG. And with that, we're getting ready for game number 2. We are getting ready for game number 2. Oh, it looks like it looks like they might have accidentally vetoed. Yeah. They vetoed for a best of 3, but they are getting ready for a best of 5. Just reorienting themselves in their vetoes. Just figuring things out. But here we go. We're getting ready for game number 2. And again, honestly, things were quite close. Like, Cristiano, he was finding himself in some good positions. He was winning out in some trades. He was winning out in some of those trades as well. But Nightmare did eventually just catch him out of position one too many times. Whether it was with his Stalker aggression or with the Prism into the main, the Prism was being such a nuisance, was doing so much across the map. But here we go, we're getting into game number 2. Oh, and it's going to be on Golden Aura. Let's go. Let us go. See if you're in the chat. There is a command in the chat for the bracket, !B. But the bracket is well underway. It's already well progressed. We've made it here to those finals. And again, we're getting into Golden Aura as our second game. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Polish Protoss player, our blue Polish Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless but leading the series 1-0. It is Nightmare. Here we go. We are going to be settling into this here. Again, Golden Aura is a much smaller map, a much shorter rush distance map in the map pool. So I expect a little bit more aggression here, a little bit less passivity. We can be quite secure on 3 bases, but getting a 4th is a lot more difficult here to get into. So we'll see. Keep our eye on our players. We'll keep an eye on the openers as well. Should be 2 gates. Yeah. 2 gate opener out of Cristiano, 2 gate opener out of Nightmare. No one is pulling a Max Pax, no one is pulling an Art. I should emphasize as well, as Art did go for a gate expand earlier in his previous semifinals. Did show us that he is bold enough to do so. No one here though. Not yet. As we do see both Cristiano and Nightmare moving out with their probes, throwing down their pylons in a fake proxy position. We have Cristiano throwing down his at his, linear 4th. Likewise, Nightmare throws down his pylon here towards the north as well. And these are not real. They are fake. They're designed to try to force an overreaction, to try to force your opponent to panic a little bit and believe that you're cheesing them. So, bold moves here from our players. We do see Cristiano checking the center area here, just in case there was something like a proxy robo. This is a very common location for a proxy robo, so I don't blame him. He is checking. Probe comes in, does confirm that at least the third pylon has been thrown down. Ooh, and yeah, he does get eyes on the missing second pylon. He throws down a robo. Robo is on the way for Nightmare. And we'll see what we can do with this. This looks like a very defensive style, but this could also lead into a one-base all-in. Could lead into an all-in. Adepts chasing down the probe. They're fanning out, trying to find any stray pylon. Meanwhile, we do get eyes on the tech. It's going to be a Stargate here from Cristiano. Nightmare now knows it's not an all-in. We can expand. There it is. Nexus is on the way. And Nightmare, he knows to be ready for Oracle aggression. Again, this follow-up probe scout should not have happened. and we should be getting in towards the mid game. So very different kind of styles here. We have Oracle potential to harass and get economic damage done. Meanwhile, back at home, Nightmare has the Robo for Observers, for Immortals, for a more robust army in the mid game. Okay. Speaking of, there it is. The first Immortal is on the way. So this can snowball out of control. This can hit quite hard once we build up that Immortal count. Once we do build it up. There it is. Oracle does threaten that main base, but because it got scouted, Nightmare's in position. It's going to be able to zone that Oracle away for now. But does have to keep some Stalkers here in the main. They are tied up. At the same time, Cristiano applying pressure towards that natural, but with the help of this Immortal, we're perfectly safe and sound. Nightmare, he does hold. Does defend. Cristiano doesn't throw anything away. He pulls back. Oracles, they rotate around. We're up to 2. And we could go for the sentries. Not quite. We don't go for the dive. Adepts ain't shaded to the natural. 2 Adepts do one-shot workers. They get 2. They're going for a 3rd and up. They do not get it. So never mind. The Oracles, they make up for it in the main base. 4 probes go down. And the Oracles survive. Pretty good. Like, despite the setup from Nightmare, Cristiano, he still found damage. He still did pop off. As Nightmare is going to be easing into his own 3rd. Just focusing on defending. Focusing on securing his bases, getting into his own blink. Blink isn't done yet, so the Oracles, they will manage to get away. Will survive. And behind this, we're going for a gateway explosion. So Cristiano, he just made a choice. Instead of taking a 3rd, 2 more gateways. 2 more gates instead. The Observer sees everything, by the way. Nightmare, he sees, he knows. Does get eyes on the gateways. Should be getting raided back at home. More Immortals are amassing here for Nightmare. Shield batteries on the way as well. He's ready for a push. He is ready. Now, Cristiano is not going all in. He is still expanding. But Cristiano has more production. He has 4 gateways up and running. Nightmare only has 2. So Cristiano, he has just a larger force in general here. He can just go for these more warp-ins. And Nightmare, yeah, he's being very safe. He even goes for a hallucinated Immortal. You can see here, Nightmare, he's very paranoid, very ready here for a push. Doesn't want to get caught off guard. Cristiano is pushing, but again, at least he's not all in. Looking at the vision, Nightmare, he hasn't seen the 3rd base until now. I was going to say that Nightmare, it looks like he feels like it's an all-in. Like, this is very much so screaming that he was in preparation for a 2-base all-in. It's anything but. As we blink into the main. Cristiano goes to the main base. Stasis Trap is done, and we catch an Immortal. Very nicely done. Immortal is caught out. But we aren't able to get much more than that. Adepts, they shade in towards the 3rd. We don't quite get more workers. So we commit to the shade. We get 2 probes. And get cleaned up. Okay, Cristiano, he calms down and he backs off. Does back off. And fun fact, because Nightmare was getting ready for an all-in, look at the worker count. Nightmare has been bleeding out some probes, but he's down to 43 workers. Cristiano, he has been heavily saturating his own 3rd base, despite the later 3rd. Remember, Nightmare, he believed it was an all-in, but it wasn't. So Cristiano's in a pretty good position. He's in a pretty damn good position here. He has a 10 worker lead over Nightmare. But Nightmare has the better composition. We have Stalkers and Immortals. And these Immortals, they pack quite a punch. They can make up for a Stalker deficit. So looking at the army sizes here, we have a comparable Stalker count. We have the Immortals for Nightmare. Cristiano, this is not going to be an easy defense. It's not going to be easy. He's rotating around. Does get eyes on the army. Here we go. Nightmare is pushing in. And the Immortals, they force back the army. We go for the shield battery, overcharge is popped. But it gets focused down. Boys, they have to be pulled. And here come the slow lots. Slow lots attacking some shots. We dive on top of the Immortals. Good juggling here with the War Prism. We save one of them, we save both. We snipe the Prism. Good target firing here out of Cristiano. And can he clean this up? Can he barely clean this up? It looks like he will. He takes down every single Immortal, but it cost him 15 probes. Cost him a lot of workers. And we have to go. We have to commit to the all-in. We have to commit to the counter-attack. As Cristiano, he has lost his worker lead. Down to 50. Back at home, Nightmare, he's got a Dark Shrine. That's the problem here. He's getting ready to defend with DTs. Cristiano backs off. Cristiano, he pulls back home, licking his wounds. And we have to take stock. Now, Nightmare takes the economic lead, that is true. But Cristiano, he has a better army. He's going for a 4th base. This 4th will make up for it. It's a good way to catch up here in the economy with the faster 4th, considering the Nightmare has no 4th of his own. Cristiano is pulling this off. He is recovering. Dark Templar have arrived. We have detection. We have observers, at least one. Yeah, we have one observer for the time being. Rotate around, we catch another Dark Templar. Very nicely done there by Cristiano. Whew, does minimize his losses. And Cristiano, he's stabilizing. He's called back up to 60. Remember, faster 4th base. It's about to get up and running. You make 4 probes at a time. And now it's no longer a purely gateway army. Now Cristiano has incorporated Archons. And Charge Lots. And +1. Cristiano, he has Archons, he's got the upgrade lead, he's got the composition lead right now. Nightmare, he lost all of his Immortals, can no longer rely on them. He is getting into his own Archon production. You can see Charge is still seconds away from finishing. It's not ready. We need a little bit more time. We do need more time. That's a cancel on the 4th base. And Cristiano, he's snowballing out of control. He collapses on the army, takes down the shield batteries, takes down the 4th base. And after surviving the earlier all-in, the earlier push of Nightmare, it looks like Cristiano is snowballing out of control. +1 is done in 10 seconds for Nightmare. But he's so far behind. Good snipe. We snipe the Prism. At the same time, though, we're going for the Archons. Good blinks out of Cristiano. He does pull back. Here come the reinforcements. Here come the Zealots. He collapses on the army. GG gets called, and Cristiano ties things up 1-1. Whew. GG. We have a series, Bobby. We have a back and forth. And that is all we wanted here. GG, well played. Cristiano able to have a much stronger start here in this game, able to get into his own 3-base setup. He faked the 2-base all-in, essentially. He was able to fake it out, forced a big reaction out of Nightmare. Nightmare, he was so ready for a push that never came. And because of that, Cristiano took a massive economic lead. And from there, he was in the driver's seat. It was a clutch defense, though, is what I will say. When Nightmare moved out with his 3 Immortals, that was a close fight. Nightmare, he almost broke Cristiano then and there, but he didn't. And with that, Cristiano ran with it. And with that, we have a tied-up series. And we're going to Game 3. Bearing in mind, this is not the ace match because this is a best of 5. Not a best of 3. Plenty more games ahead of us. Let's go. Let us go. And I want to believe, I mean, even in game 1, even in game number 1, Cristiano was very, very close to taking that game as well. It was very back and forth between himself and Nightmare. And it just goes to show how much Cristiano has grown over the past year. He has been improving a lot, alongside Geralt as well, I will say that. They've both been leveling up, and yeah, so far Cristiano, he's holding his own. But can he go even further? Because spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have representing his new team, Starlight Twinkle, the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, the favored player in this entire tournament, the #1 seed. But he has been shown to bleed. He has been shown to bleed once again. He is not untouchable. It is Nightmare. Going for a proxy in the natural base of Cristiano. He's crazy. Oh my god. A wild location for the proxy, but Nightmare, he's had enough of these longer standard games. No. It's time to ape it up. It's time to ape it up. The mask is off. The clown shoes are on. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Oh my god, we're going for a 2-gate proxy with a forge for cannons. Okay, so we're going gasless. This is going to be for Zealots and Cannon Rush. So this is going to be Zealots for cannons. Zealots and cannons here from Nightmare. No gas whatsoever. It's all or nothing. Very aggressive, very all in. And Cristiano has no idea. He's coming in with a probe scout. This probe scout, if we go straight for the main base, we'll get eyes on the lack of pylon, the lack of gases, the lack of anything. We need to get in. We do need to get in. Another pylon's on the way so we can leapfrog forward with those cannons. Forge is done. Gateways are finishing. And we're going for the main base. Pylon has completed. There we go. Cannons are now on the way. Cristiano, he sees. He now knows. And now he confirms as well. No gases across the map. Can he respond in time? Cristiano responds with his own forge, but it may be too late. So, in this position, as a defending Protoss player, defensive forge is ideal. You need your own cannons. You need your own cannons here to deal and combat the cannons of your opponents. But the forge is exposed. It's going down here to the Zealots, taking a lot of hits. Shield batteries on the way. Depths as well. And this forge is going to be cancelled. It is going to be cancelled. It is within range of the cannon. And Zealots are busting in. They're going for the pylon. That is Narcosis pylon. Okay, they go for the shield battery instead. Shield battery is going to be cancelled. These Zealots putting in a lot of work, and now we have 2 more Zealots arriving. The Adepts have arrived. We have to be very careful to get within range of the cannons. We get one. One Zealot goes down. Good kiting so far out of Cristiano. Very nice. It only gets 2 Zealots in total. But you can see that the cannons are on the way within the mineral line. The cannons are coming. And Cristiano is in so much danger. If these cannons finish, that's going to be game. And they're finishing. We're shutting down the Zealots. It's so close. Can we deny these cannons? There's so many on the way. There's 4 cannons in production. And they're finishing. Yeah, the cannons, they are completing here. They're wreaking havoc. They take control of the main base. Overcharge is popped. Do you have the overcharge? That is enough to kill a cannon. But there's still 4 more. Yeah, GG gets called. It's just too much. Nightmare, he does bounce back with the cannon rush, taking a lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. I see in the chat, Nightmare, he's an animal. He is. He is an animal. Ay. The cannon rush does pay off. Again, if those cannons finish in the main base in the mineral line, that's game. It's just straight up like this. There's no way about it. There's no way to bounce back. Ay. And now we're getting into game number 4. Nightmare, he is 1 game away from becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. Can Cristiano bounce back? That was a very short game, and if you notice, there was no GG at the end of that game either. It's, I'm sure, very frustrating to lose to cannon rushes, and hopefully Cristiano is able to keep a cool, calm, and collected head. Hopefully Cristiano is not too emotional after that game. But again, I think it's understandable if he is, if he's a little bit upset after being cannon rushed. As we're getting into our next game and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion, we have our blue Polish Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. Down in the series, he has to bounce back here and now. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, leading the series 2-1. He is 1 game away from winning it all and becoming our champion this week. It is Nightmare. Here we go. The PvP is upon us. Potentially the final game, game number 4. Can we bounce back? So Cristiano is moving out with his probe scouts, this time going directly for the main base. I don't blame him. It is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Nightmare, 2-gate opener out of Cristiano. Everything looking normal, everything looking as it should. I see the disgusting fight. He's an animal. All things are true. All things are Protoss, puppy. What do you mean? Really, more than anything, that last game, Nightmare, he played the most Protoss you could. He's just embracing his race. He knows how to win, puppy. He knows. He knows the power of Protoss. Hey, why be locked into a 20-minute game when you can just go for a cannon rush, right? True. Makes sense. As Nightmare is going for a proxy pylon. He's going for a proxy. Here we go. The pylon is being thrown down. Cristiano, he does confirm that the pylon is missing, by the way. He knows that it's not where it should be. Where exactly is it? Show us the robo. As Cristiano responds with a robo of his own. So proxy robo out of Nightmare, but a very good reaction out of Cristiano. He hasn't seen the pylon. He hasn't seen the proxy, but he goes for a gamble. He believes that it's real, goes for a defensive robo himself. Here we go. So a blind counter out of Cristiano, but it comes down to the control, comes down to the execution. As Nightmare is going for a 1-base all in. Now with a defensive robo, we have defensive immortals. That's what's important. We can get into immortal production very early on, get into a warp prism as well. Adepts are moving out. We're gaming, papi. We're gaming. Yeah. Aye. And speaking of getting into a defensive immortal, we're going for a prism first. Bold move, but again, it does allow us to micro and juggle our units to avoid shots, to preserve our army. Meanwhile, immortals are on the way from Nightmare. We have not scattered, we have not gotten confirmation. Cristiano is still not fully aware of what's going on. He is looking to expand. Ooh, oh boy. There it is. There's the expansion, going for the natural base. Meanwhile, Nightmare is doubling down, rallying everything across the map. And Cristiano is going for a counterattack. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's not going for his own immortal, so he doesn't know it's an all-in. He's not getting ready for this. Otherwise, we would have an immortal on the way. You can see the Stalkers are in position. He's ready for a proxy Stargate. He's ready for Oracle Harass. I mean, again, Cristiano, he's playing blind. He's trying to get ready for everything. Prism zips in. Big warp in. We're going for the economy. There's a shield battery, but these adepts, they can wreak havoc. There's 4 adepts in the main base. Probes are going down. At the same time, we're going to force to cancel the natural. Doesn't matter. We're going for the main. We have to go for the kill. Going for the kill. Probes, they're falling one after the other here. No mining whatsoever for Nightmare, but we bust into the main base. We collapse on that immortal. The army's being forced back. We're down to 2 units. We're down to 1. We have control of the main base. We go for the pylon. We depower the gateways. No warp-ins here for Cristiano. He's down to 1 immortal and only 1 immortal. And yes, we might be denying any kind of mining time, but if we force a recall. Boys are being pulled. Probes, they're putting in a lot of damage. We get the robo. Nightmare, he snipes the robo. He's down to 13 workers. Cristiano, can he hold? Adepts, they get held up by the immortal of his opponent of Nightmare. Adepts are going down. We're going for another big warp in. Immortal goes down and Nightmare. It looks like he may just have too much. Shading out across the map, actually. I don't think that was intentional. Bit of miscontrol out of Nightmare. Things are getting chaotic. The adepts, they're coming back. Cristiano, he's holding. Cristiano, he is holding on. He repowers his gateways. He gets more adepts. Do you have the warp in? We shade into the main base. Cristiano has a worker lead. He can afford to lose some probes. 20 workers against the 13 of Nightmare. Remember, Cristiano, he's on 2 bases. He's on 2 Nexi. Trying to repower those gateways once again. Adepts, they force Cristiano back. He's going for the pylon. He wants it. Oh, it takes a big shot to the face, though. Does take a big hit. Nightmare forced out of the main base. We do wall off in time. Nightmare doubling back. Does out position Cristiano. Pylon, oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Is a kill. Overcharge is Pop, keeping the Immortal alive. And Cristiano, he holds. Very impressive. Cristiano, he does hold on. And cleans up the Adepts. Both of them go down. And Cristiano, he's still up in workers. GG gets caught. He holds. He survives. And Cristiano forces the ace match by going all the way to game 5. Whew, GG. GG, bro. GG. Oh my god. Bobby. That was close. I was a little bit concerned when we saw that we went for a War Prison first and we delayed our Immortal production. I was concerned that Cristiano would not have enough to defend. It was a very tense situation there, very tense game, and GG. We're going to game 5. We're going all the way to the ace match. Let's go. So we are settling in. We are settling into Crimson Court as the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends in game 5. And I'm just happy that we have an ace match, right? Like, coming into this, I was a little bit concerned that Nightmare was going to just blow his way through everyone. I was concerned that Nightmare was just going to just 2-0 and 3-0 everyone and just walk away unscathed. But no, we fight back. We force an ace match here in the finals, even in the semifinals as well. It all comes down to our final game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player from South Korea, being forced into game 5. Can he bounce back? It is Nightmare. Okay. Let's go. The probe is moving out across the map. Try to get a bit of a scout off. Likewise, Cristiano preparing back at home as well. Where will we find ourselves? As it is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Cristiano, 2-gate opener out of Nightmare. This time, based on our probe placements, we are not going for a proxy. We're not going for a cheese, at least not from the side of Nightmare. So Cristiano is moving out. Whew. Here we go. As the second pylon has been revealed here to Nightmare, so there's no proxy. Likewise, second pylon in the main base from Nightmare as well. So both players are fully aware that there is nothing being proxied out of the map, that we have a standard game, at least initially. We're calming things down, getting into the ace match. No proxy, no cheese, not yet. Meanwhile, when it comes to our first units of choice, it's going to be double Adept out of Cristiano and Stalker Sentry from Nightmare. Okay, Nightmare going for a very safe opener here across the map. Cristiano being much more aggressive and assertive with double Adept. So we have a more aggressive build here from Cristiano to get across the map to wreak some havoc. And it isn't just 2 Adepts, we're going up to a 3rd and 4th Adept as well. We could even go up to 6, we could even go up to 8. We'll see when Cristiano stops making Adepts. So he is pushing. Meanwhile, across the map, Nightmare going for his expansion, getting into his Stalker production. Probe does confirm the Sentry and additional Stalkers as well. And Cristiano, he is continuing Adept production, by the way. There it is. We're up to 4, soon to be 6. So Cristiano is getting up to 6 Adepts. Meanwhile, Nightmare going to be getting into his first tech of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council. Will be a Twilight Council Blink-based opener out of Nightmare. But the depths, they are being zoned back time and time again. Nightmare, he has a full wall up and running here in his main. And Cristiano, he is zoned away. Behind this is going for a Robo. This should be for a Warp Prism to get into the main base, to bypass the wall. To get into Immortals as well. As we're not, oh my god, we're getting up to what, 10? No, sorry, 8. 8 Adepts here from Cristiano. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of Adepts. And this is a big investment. We have to make this worth our while. We have to make this pay for itself. The pressure is on Cristiano. So he does get revealed. I'm fully aware of how heavily we invested into these Adepts. Gonna be feeling pretty confident. Forcing this back. Let's force it back. We do commit to the shade. We get 1 probe. We do manage to get 1 worker, but we're gonna bleed out some of these Adepts. Yeah, the shade was a little bit too late. And 1 Adept goes down. 1 Adept for 1 probe. Not worth it for Cristiano. Not worth it so far. So we do pick up another probe, and we are denying mining time here at the natural at least. We do deny mining time, shading in towards the main base. You can see how oversaturated Nightmare is on his 1 base. He knows that if he does pull down here to the natural, he will lose workers. And because of that, Cristiano does have an economic lead. He's fully saturated. Cristiano is fully saturated here on 2 bases, and finally Nightmare. Oh, he finishes the pylon. The pylon does complete. He has to kill his own pylon, and now he can mine from his natural. Finally, you can see here the economy deep in the blue, deep in favor of Cristiano. Very well done. Didn't kill a lot of probes, but did deny mining time, and that's what matters. And we're not done. Remember, it was a Robo follow-up into Immortals, into a War Prism drop into the main. The Adepts, they're coming back with a vengeance. For probes, they are spotted. Gonna be cleaned up. 3rd base is delayed. As the Adepts do threaten the shade. Cristiano should be thinking of his own 3rd soon. Throwing down 3 more gateways, getting up to 5. That's a hefty gateway count. So, did I say 5? Getting up to 6, by the way. Okay, it's going to be 6 gates here for Cristiano. Getting up to 7 gateways. This is a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in from our Blue Protoss player. Nightmare is expanding. Nightmare, he's investing into a longer, later game. +1 has begun. This +1, it's possible that it may not come into play at all before the fight does happen. It's not going to finish. Hallucination is coming in. Big scouts. Big moment here for Nightmare. He does get eyes on the additional gateways. He does confirm the lack of 3rd. We need shield batteries. As we blink into the main. Oh, Cristiano out of position. He doesn't have blink of his own. Does not have blink. Probes are going down. And this is going to slow down the all-in as we force a recall. We do bleed out some of these Stalkers, but we got to go. Okay, what do we have? So Cristiano, he's got 3 Immortals, he's got 4 Sentries, that's a lot of force field energy, and he's got 12 Blink Stalkers. And we should be pushing with a War Prism. And War Prisms across the map. So here we go, here comes our all-in. We could try to go for the 3rd, and I imagine this will securely deny the 3rd base, true, but we most likely want to go for the kill and go for the natural. We're knocking down the rocks, we're going for the 3rd base. At the same time, Adepts are shading in! Oh, we're bleeding out a lot of probes. This is going to impact how well we can reinforce. Yeah, we managed to get 3 probes across the map. But we knock down these rocks, and here we go. Cristiano, he's going for the 3rd base. We have 2 shield batteries, we have an overcharge, we have force fields. Not going to be an easy push. But Cristiano, he's up 20 supply. There's the overcharge. Good force fields. Here we zone Cristiano back. Tries to catch his own Stalkers. Doesn't quite pick them off. But we're going for another big warp in, and Cristiano does have the supply lead. Overcharge runs out. Good force fields, and Immortal does get isolated. But Cristiano, he may just have too much. So many of these Immortals are not really taking part in the fight. Not adding their damage, but Cristiano, he's slowly breaking through. We're running out of force fields. We dive on top of the army. We get on top of the final immortals. And Cristiano, it looks like he has done it. He's breaking on through, getting on top of the army. Shield batteries, they're running out of energy. And Cristiano, he's done it. He breaks through. He breaks the third base, but remember, he needs more than the third. He has to keep going. He needs to go for the kill. He needs to go for the throat. So he does force back those stalkers. Immortal has arrived. Nexus goes down. Cristiano, he still has a supply lead, and he's making his way towards that natural. Boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled off the mineral line. We have another reinforcing wave of zealots. Overcharge is popped. And the overcharge is putting in a lot of work. Nightmare, he's holding. He's forcing this back. But we're bleeding out a lot of probes, and good control out of Cristiano. He does save the Warp Prism. It went down to almost half HP. The shields were stripped. But he does pull back. Just waiting for another warp in. Patient play. Remember, overcharge is now on cooldown. We dive on top of the immortals. And it looks like Cristiano, he has finally done it. Or has he? It's getting close. He gets the immortal. Nightmare is down to one last immortal. Good kiting out of Nightmare. He pulls back. He's shaving off all these zealots. The immortal barely survives. Barely does survive. Boys being pulled once again. Good target firing here out of Cristiano. He does save his immortals in the end. Does preserve them. And he breaks the natural base. Oh my god. Despite the start of this series, it was back and forth. It was very close. Nightmare even showcasing some cannon rush skill as well on Ghost River, but GG gets called, and Cristiano will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Cristiano for coming out on top, for overcoming and overpowering the #1 seed. Don't forget to join the Matcherino. GG, well played. Congratulations here. Very well done. Very well played. A big shout out here to Cristiano. And I believe that he had to... Oh, wait, no, we're good, we're good. Is Cristiano also playing in EPT? I think he is. I think later on tonight here. But yeah, it's a busy day here for a lot of these players as EPT is ongoing as well. But GG, very well played. Congratulations to Cristiano. And my condolences to Nightmare. I mean, Nightmare, he had a good run himself. You know, he was a dominant force in this tournament. He was coming in as kind of the one to win it all. But in the end, Cristiano, he was able to cause a massive upset here instead. I would call this an upset. I do know that Cristiano has been improving quite a lot, but I would still favor, on paper, Nightmare over Cristiano. Despite that, Cristiano does overcome that, overcome those expectations, and GG, well played. Very well played. Whew. And with that, that wraps up our tournament. That wraps up our broadcast here tonight. Does wrap us up. Congratulations, and I hope you all enjoyed yourselves as well. It was an amazing tournament. We had quite a bit of variety here tonight. A lot of PvPs, to be fair, but we had quite a lot of upsets as well. Switching on over here for Art, also to make Nightmare bleed. Art did not look bad against Nightmare in the semifinals. It was a very good performance there out of Art between Nightmare. Likewise, Nickerack took down Geralt in the quarterfinals. Big results there from Nickerack. He took down Geralt 2-1. He went to the ace match against Cristiano. Nickerack also had a good performance. Shameless even forced Cristiano to the ace match as well. And we had Art versus Honmono going to game 3. A lot of ace matches, a lot of back and forth series. Very nicely done. Very high quality StarCraft here tonight. I'm happy. I'm happy with the outcome. GG. GG, well played. And I hope you all enjoyed yourselves as well. Hope you all had a great time. If you enjoyed this broadcast, if you enjoyed this tournament, then of course you can support us on Patreon. You can subscribe. You can check us out on all of our other social medias as well: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. !! Socials, in the chat if you're interested. And yeah, you can check us out. Can check us out there if you're interested. Again, based on our Patreon, it can help us grow this tournament. It can help us grow the Sparkling Tuna Cup, so if you're interested, you can do so there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We're going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going... hold on. Oh, sorry, I'm just messaging Cristiano. I'm just messaging Cristiano, letting him know. So just letting him know. Just letting him know. But yeah. Sorry, just messaging Cristiano, and he's proud, Papi. He's proud. Out of his wins. I was telling him, like, I'm pretty sure you picked West by accident a couple too many times. He said, nah, practice, Papi, practice. Let's go. Yeah, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, you can do so via subscribing. Otherwise, you can just follow us wherever you can, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We have the Discord server, we have a YouTube channel, plenty of StarCraft on a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings. And we're not done. We're going to be going on a short break. In a couple of minutes, we're going to be back with World Team League. I don't think there's anyone casting World Team League right now. I do apologize. I think a lot of the, like, Wardy and Rotterdam, I think they're busy with EPT. I think they're busy with ESL Spring. But we will be very quickly setting up our stream and casting World Team League. So, Code A about to begin here in a couple of minutes. We're just going to be turning off the stream. So the stream is going to be going down. Don't leave, or if you want some World Team League, don't leave. The stream is going to come back in a couple of minutes. I'm just resetting the delay and, of course, resetting the stream and the overlays and everything. So don't go anywhere. We're coming back, Papi. We're coming back soon with some World Team League action. The StarCraft, it doesn't end. Does not stop, does not end. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. If you maybe are not interested in WTL, if you want to watch EPT Spring, then EPT Spring is currently live. So you can, of course, check it out there instead if you so wish. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, Papi, ciao. See you guys in a couple of minutes.